start it whenever.
Well, those are some good first words of the stream. Convenient timing of what you just said there. Of started whenever.
How convenient.
Indeed. So, what should we open up with?
Well, I guess you could start by just briefly explaining the Orochimaru 2v1 Glaze thing. Just what was discussed.
Okay, okay. Under the possibility that Jay randomly clicks on this and is just watching the beginning of this and has no idea what this is, we don't hate you and there's no bad blood, and this title is strictly a meme as a follow-up, as a funny joke. It's all good. I give you permission to do the same thing to us. Not that you needed it anyway. Also, Kamui, my idea was I don't let him know preemptively, but I let him know after the stream before he has a chance to message me about it first. Thoughts? I think that's the best way to go about it.
Okay, sure.
I could just not message him, and I mean, to be fair, he might not message me at all, but like, if he messaged me, then I feel like at that point, if I message him, wait, where is it? It's not bad. It could be seen as worse.
Yeah.
But
So, what you said works.
yeah, okay. But all I know is that someone is ducking. But okay, no, that's okay.
Well, by all technicality, they are, in fact, doing that.
Well, okay, it's funny because yes, it is by all technicality, but it's also by only technicality.
That's why I chose my words wisely.
Yeah, real strong emphasis on the all there.
That's by all technicality.
Well, Kamui, just to be sure, because I'm pretty sure I asked and you just didn't respond. So, did you just not set an alarm yesterday or something? Like, what
I did.
happened? You did?
I did.
Well, I feel like there's a story that you could tell around these parts.
The alarm I set was before you guys started, and I fell asleep moments after turning the alarm off. So I clicked stop, got no messages, and went back to sleep immediately before I could do anything. I was very tired.
I do also want to say, like, the way that your message was, let me just, not show DMs on stream as I scroll up. It's just good habit to have. God. Okay, so, okay. So,
I was sharing screen.
yeah, oh, yeah, good call. Okay. So I messaged you. This is all trippy stuff. Okay. So you message 8:26. You have a headache and you're sleepy, so you'll try taking a nap before the stream, I guess. To me, the way you wrote this implies you're doing that just to like stall for time, waiting for everyone else to be ready. And that you don't need a nap, but you're just doing it because you might as well. But not that
I am sleepy.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like an optional thing, and that like you could have by all technicality. See, I used to say words. You could have by all technicality
so funny here.
Just been fine without the nap. But
what's funny here is my alarm is at 10:30, and as you can see, at 10:36, you said I'll be home in a sec. I was already asleep again.
So I forget if there was like anything above this that like said anything about anything at all in terms of times, but
well, as you can see, I mean, what I said was very true. I am sleepy, and I did try taking it out.
So obviously you must have fallen asleep after 8:26. I'm gonna assume you like tried to go to sleep right after sending this message, so you probably asleep like 8:30, 8:40, 8:50.
I think I fell asleep. I set the alarm at 10:30, thinking hour and a half for the nap. So I probably actually fell asleep around 9ish, but it depends on how long
Sure.
it took. But
Yeah, I mean, it
once
takes
I
time to
did
fall
that,
asleep anyways.
I was just down at that point.
Yeah, and then I just thought everything here was funny. Just all of my messages, even throughout the stream, I was trying to get you to wake up through
So
like
what time did
the
you guys
notification
start?
ping. Oh, well, technically we were waiting on you. We could have started like an hour before we started, but we were trying to see if you were gonna wake up. So we probably started at like, I mean, this is at 12:14, so probably like 12:20 is maybe when we started.
I would be
Well,
honest. So
started like whatever time
if I
the
had
call
waited
started.
without falling asleep until like 11:30 or whatever you guys would have started,
Yeah, like 12:30.
bro, I would have been so tired.
No, but we could have started again. We could have started at like 11 or really like 10:30 technically, since that's when I got home. 10:36, but it's like 10:40, I guess. But ignoring that. And so this is all funny. So again, I want to emphasize. You fell asleep around 9 a.m. And I'll give you
At
like
9
maybe
p.m.
like 30 minutes from when you woke up to when. Well, okay. That's really not making your case stronger. You stronger. But I'll give you like a 30-minute leeway buffer time to say you woke up and you sent this message. So that is a 12-hour sleep that you clearly needed that sleep. And okay, I'll even give you like a 30-minute awake time that you were, even though you said it was like immediate, to where it was a nap to where your alarm woke you up and you needed to fall back asleep again. So okay, we're down to like, let's say, as generous as possible. It was definitely more than 11 hours of sleep. That means you were really sleepy.
Yeah, I'm like the text does it all. I am sleepy. I'm very sleep deprived.
Uh,
Definitely.
I mean, I was telling Jay, I know this is bad because this is like the 5th time that we've rescheduled, but like, we'll have to reschedule again, but he seemed down to do so, so there's also that. I do think it's funny because like 90% of Fridays you are available and here, and this was just like the like 5% of time to where you just weren't here. The
Well, the
odds.
problem is that like whenever so this only applies when I haven't slept well for a while, which of course is like all the time nowadays. Um, if I've worked out late, I'm just gonna be awake for a while. It's very easy. But like I didn't work out because I was having well, honestly my legs were ridiculously sore and I basically like pulled a hamstring just doing a couple bodyweight squats to see if I was gonna work out today. But
Yeah.
everything's just all messed up. My shoulder, my elbows, my knees, everything's all messed up. So it's like, all right, I guess I will just take 3 days off. So I didn't work out. And then when that happens, the combination of those two, I'm just tired. And there's no workout to wake me up. I'm just tired. And those are usually the times where I'll have that, where I'll just sleep like 11 hours or whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm not overly surprised. That's why I sent that message, the one you're highlighting. Clearly, we can't do a stream if I worked early but did not work out after work. I will not be awake. It's just true. This is not the first time that's happened. So
He's not wrong. Well, then again, I mean, over the course of like the 3 years we've done this podcast, it's not surprising. Like, if there's anything
I
that is
usually
a
work
first
out on
time,
Fridays.
that's
So that's the thing. It's
impressive.
not usually the days I
Yeah.
take off. I only took it off just because I'm freaking injured all over. So it's the only
Okay.
reason I didn't work out. I was hoping to, but I was like, I can't.
Well, hopefully, like Easter helps with whatever you're doing here with holidays, giving
Easter, I
time
will
off,
not be
or
working
whatever.
out, but if we do it early, we'll be
Oh
fine.
yeah, we'll see. 4:30. Did you
That's the
say
other
bad?
problem is that yeah, you can never do earlies.
Yeah, I feel like 4:30 is not really feasible, but maybe we'll
I mean,
see.
I'll say right now, I work Monday morning, so I'm not doing a nighttime stream. That's why I added that uh, early evening reply in the group because I'm like,
Okay.
I can't do later.
Okay. Okay. Can you do Monday night? Because apparently that's apparently all of a sudden the number one night of all time that Kamui can do that he never could do before, and don't listen to him say
Monday,
otherwise.
Monday night should be fine. I just don't know what time because I'm gonna be doing
We'll see.
something in the evening, but I don't know how late.
Yeah. Well, I know I
Oh
can't do
wait,
Monday in the day,
actually,
definitely.
no. I'm sorry. I'm
It's
gonna correct
usual,
myself
but
right now. I forgot. I need to be up early to drive an hour away to do something for my car Tuesday morning. So actually, no,
oh,
I cannot do this Monday night.
well, there you go. Oh, I was right. Let's go. You're only validating my path further.
That's just because I said yes to that car appointment time.
I love
Um,
how, because of
Begrudgingly
Naruto
so.
narrative conversation, we've just incorporated validate path into our everyday.
I think we've done that for a lot of things, especially even though we've never said it.
And the badly in love.
And
Can't
that
stand
you
it.
proved it. That might be my favorite one to use.
Yes.
You didn't just say it, you proved it.
See, the
And
madly in love
speaking of
thing,
proof,
you can take like
oh,
both parts of it individually. Like, you could just ignore the madly in love and just say like, "Oh,
yeah, I can't
that
even
topic
stand
was
it.
so
Yeah,
cool, you couldn't even stand it."
I
Whatever.
know that's the best part for me. They can't even
Exactly.
stand it part.
Exactly.
We need to
Uh,
find. I need to rewatch Naruto so I can find more quotes.
yeah. Oh, I don't know if you saw my
Most of the
latest.
art quotes. We're just making them quotes.
I don't know if you saw my latest April Fool's topic. This would be really fun to do. I don't know exactly how we do it. This will take a lot of research as well. But like a debate power scale collab video to where
Oh, that reminds me. I never finished my topic I started writing earlier. I'll just say it to you now, but it's going in abridged. Let me pull up abridged on my phone here.
okay, well not
So you and Diagonite are both gonna love this.
okay.
Where is abridged? There it is.
Right there.
So Oodie, um,
Yes. Stalagmite
KCM
leaves.
Naruto clone was caught by Black Zetsu's wood style.
You
You know
bet.
who wasn't caught?
Who?
Genma wasn't caught by it.
Ooh.
Genma
Oh,
over
power
KCM
scale and abridged
Naruto
is what you meant.
clone
Okay.
over the Raikage.
See, you said abridged, and I clicked on abridged. You know, the one directly above power scale
Oh
universe.
yeah.
I was like, is he typing? Am I scrolling up? But
Genma
I love
is
that.
Kage level. He's the best in the league. The best in the Leaf Village. There we go. I mean, what more proof do you need? Genma, she also said, Genma is faster than KCM Naruto relative to Minato, the Yellow Flash. Genma is faster than the Yellow Flash. I mean, any contentions?
Well, I agree. I'm also messaging Black Uchiha soon if he wants to join.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, are we going to do it in the stage or add him here?
Yeah, it'd be funny to add him here. We'll see what he says. If he
Oh,
says
we know.
yes,
That's right. We
then we'll
never
go with
messaged
that.
Mello.
Yeah, and
We
I
should
saw he
ask,
was online earlier as well, so that's another
we should
thing.
ask Mello, does your offer still stand?
See, well, the thing is, I mean, we have to go in like an hour and a half anyways. At that point.
That is true.
Uh,
And with Mello, those are like the 8 hour streams.
exactly. Which is exactly, which is why I'm not asking Mello, but I did ask Black Uchiha. I feel like Black Uchiha is more likely to say yes, whereas we're less likely to say yes to Mello. These
Yeah.
days. Uh, but we love the Mello streams. Okay, but that aside, getting to your start of stream question that I have just completely ignored. Okay, so how do we get to what was the question? How we get to the Orochimaru
Well,
topic?
what is the Orochimaru Glaze session?
Glaze
It's a
session. Yeah.
2v1 too. So who's on? the others. So
Well,
clearly you're on Orochimaru
okay,
Blade's side.
okay. So I'm
So who
glad you
joined
knew
you?
that. So it was the other person in here is Purple Fang is what their name is currently on Discord.
You and Purple Fang versus Jay for
No, 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 no,
Orochimaru?
no, no, no. It was so it was I was the one on the Glaze.
Uh,
Yeah, so it was 2v1 against
I was
me.
really hoping that one of the two joined you.
That would be hilarious. It could
So
have
what
been a
you're saying
2v2 if you
is,
were there. No, but I
okay,
was purposefully not going crazy with that topic, even though we were on it for like 2 hours, because one, you weren't there, and two, I just wanted to keep it chill with Jay. But it was a lot of
which
fun.
did you use any of our arguments?
I well, as you can see in the group chat, I used the Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 one, and they did like that one. That was just
Yeah,
funny
I
to
did see
them.
that. I saw that. I was like, oh, like I don't even have to watch it to know what you
You are
definitely
well,
showed.
okay. I didn't want to do it, but like from the beginning, I was like, okay, this is where this is leading. I'm not gonna go there yet, but like I'll have this in my back pocket in case I want to use it. Inevitably, I had to eventually just cave in and use it, despite you not being there. But it was fun.
I love
So the
You didn't use
general,
any of the other ones though, like the Orochimaru was nerfed, and the
yeah, well,
Orochimaru only said Itachi was stronger when he didn't have his arm.
that's what we started with because that's how we basically got onto the topic is because one of them mentioned that exact scene like without that context to where Orochimaru just said that Itachi like, he's like admitting inferiority that Itachi's superior to him and then we like moved on and then they like
You brought that up.
well no and then we moved on to something else it's just like some offhanded thing for whatever topic we're on at the time but then like I don't know 30-40 minutes later they offhandedly said it again. I was like, "Ooh, okay, let's come back to that." So when you say that, that's how we got to Orochimaru, and it just sort of stuck from there as we like stayed on topic, on that
It's
one.
too bad that I wasn't there for the.
Yeah, well, because I say we were jumping from topic to topic. We were, but it was more like subtopics under the category of Sasuke versus Lee, to where we didn't debate it, but like we were talking around it the whole time. Because funny enough, I mean, how it basically was is that like I just admitted, especially since you weren't there and we didn't know if you were gonna join or not. Honestly, the whole time I figured at some point you were gonna join, you just never did. But I wanted to say before the debate started that Jay, just so you know, I'm on your side. I agree with you, but I'm gonna debate with Kamui. But funny enough, as it turns out, the other guy I wasn't expecting, Purple Fang, he's actually against Jay on this one. So funny
Okay,
enough, it is
finally,
like
okay, that's funny. We technically
yeah.
should swap then, but
I know, but it's so funny
the
if we
problem
don't.
is, yeah, you have all of my arguments.
um well with that as well, I did like go back through in case you didn't see. Well, you probably didn't see, but I went back through the topics list that we have, J debate, and I like revamped some of them or whatever to where like okay, let me scroll up.
I never went back and looked at it.
Yeah, so like for example, I like noted who would say each topic, and then um I like
Okay.
spoilered it so that we just like click one thing at a time and stuff like that. Oh, I also like bolded what the actual point is, and then the
I
rest is
forgot about
like
the unconscious
explanation for
one.
it. Yeah, and then I just went back and like touched up some of them, like random things like capitalizing names or like combining
Yeah,
points into like one topic so that like, it's easier to like delete and stuff like that.
I
Obviously I can't like
remember
edit
some of
your
these.
messages, but
Yeah, I never got to go over, but like I said, I don't know what things Jay would agree to, but I'll just might as well just tell you now some of the questions I wanted to ask at the beginning, because depending on his answers, we would absolutely trap him on the
yeah.
Kimimaru point. So one of the questions would be, I don't remember every single one I had in my mind,
Well,
but
I
one
did
of the
read what you texted me if that's what you're referring to. Also, if you did want to save it for then, you could, but like I don't think he's going to be listening to this anyways. Might as well.
yeah, I got it. I don't remember. Well, I don't have to say where the argument would go, but I don't remember which question that texted you,
Well,
but
one of the
one of the
things is when I was looking back through the J topics, I was realizing we blatantly don't have everything in here that we thought we did. So I don't know where some of this stuff is. Like our trump card, I'm not even gonna say what it is. It's not here.
oh, yeah.
So
Well, to be fair, we don't
yeah.
need to remember that one.
I know, but we should like have it like at least the episode
It's in
timestamp.
intro pictures or intro topics, but
Exactly, but I like looked in there for like at least a couple minutes. I just couldn't find it, so we'll have to find that some other
there's
time.
no way we deleted that.
I know,
There's
but
no
that's my
way.
point. Is that if that isn't in here, what else isn't in here? Because we also don't
That
have the unconsciously things in here. We like briefly touch up on when he's doing it versus Kimimaro, but like we don't even mention like the Gara one and like how that could
well,
play into it.
yeah, we just didn't write that in there, but we know what to say.
Exactly, but I feel like we should have wrote it down. I don't know where. Like we would have written it
I
because
think
I feel
some of
like we
them, yeah,
should
it's
have.
just us remembering it.
Okay,
But
okay. But then I feel like if that's the case, there's probably points that we forgot that we just didn't write down at all.
I'm not gonna lie, I think so too. I have to go back and see which ones we did write down.
Okay.
Because some of these I forgot about entirely.
Exactly.
Well,
No, I
actually,
forgot to
just
until I went through it the
skim
other
through it
day.
real quick. Do we have the Just scroll down real quick. Just slowly scroll down. Do we have Lee's like regular speed versus his
Yeah, that's
ramp
in
it up
there.
speed?
That's in there. I
Okay.
think it's like this one in particular. It's one of these. Well, that's
It's
part of
not
the
those
problem with
ones.
like the spoiler text is that I don't know which one is
Yeah.
which one, but
There's the damage one.
only as fast as
Yeah,
legal average
there's the
speeds. There
average
you go.
speed. Yeah, and
Which
then
means this is all that.
yeah, and I guess we don't have the images with it, but we
Yeah, I mean you
know
have
what
this,
to look
but
for. Yeah.
and again you have
There's
like the
also the after
chapters here.
images. Yeah, I wrote that down. Okay, I wrote
That's
them
here.
down. Okay.
Yeah,
There's the damage of their fights.
exactly.
There's
The durability
the
of the data
QB speed.
bones.
Also this data.
Uh,
Um
so just lots of fun stuff here. And that's pretty much it. This is my favorite one.
yes.
But
So one of the big questions to ask is, do you think so we can ignore Choji because he takes pills, but in terms of the other members of the Sasuke Retrieval Squad, you have Naruto, Lee, Neji, Shikamaru, and Kiba. Do you think from the Chunin exams to Sasuke Retrieval arc, Naruto experienced either more growth compared to the rest of the team, about equal growth, or less growth to the rest of the team? It's one question to get from him. See if he'll answer. It does matter. If he
interesting.
says he grew about the same or more, because realistically he probably grew more, but if he says anything other than he grew less, like grew in terms of like strength, if he says he grew less, we'll ask him why. But if he says either the same or um, greater, this will work in our favor. If the other question is, would you agree that Naruto and Sasuke are portrayed as being relative about equals in the rooftop fight and just say the rooftop fight? I'll ask you that, Oodie. Would you say they're portrayed as being about equal?
You could definitely argue that.
Well, what would you say?
Sure.
No, what would you actually say?
Well, I do think Sasuke would have won that if it wasn't interrupted and if Sakura wasn't there.
What would you think you would have won by a landslide, or like it's like the final valley later fight where he barely wins?
I think he would have barely won, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be like dragged out. I think he would have just beat base Naruto, and that would have been the end of it. And again, not necessarily like handedly or anything.
Is that because you think that Chidori was better than the Rasengan there, or because of a different reason?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, that instance, you could argue it would have evened out like it does in their first clash, and they would have just been like knocked backwards and then been fine. Again, like in their first clash, they were just knocked backwards and fine. But I don't think
So
that
why
like
do you think Sasuke
Sasuke.
would have won that clash?
Yeah, I don't think Sasuke would have like used his curse mark or anything to try and fight Naruto. I think he would have just like stayed in base, and likewise Naruto, I don't think would have used like Nine Tails or anything. I think they would have just kept fighting the way they've been fighting, and Naruto would have just, sorry, Sasuke would have just won through his like skill or whatever.
But how come?
How come? What do you mean? Like he would have, I don't know, just like grappled him like versus Yoroi?
Yeah, but why do you think that?
What do you mean?
Why do you think Sasuke would have won? And when I say would have won, I mean not like the it's as dead even as possible and he barely drags out the win. Because it sounds like you're saying he's going to win more handily than that.
Well, it depends on if you think Sasuke is going to get like overly emotional to where he's just not going to fight the way he normally would, per se. Or if he's
But then
just
if
going
you
to like
start,
try and take down Naruto to prove a point.
well, part of the problem with that is then you start to ask questions like that about Naruto in terms of how he's going to fight. So I would just stick to the original question is during the rooftop clash itself, would you say they were portrayed as about equal to each other? Or do you think one was clearly better than the other?
I mean, portrayal is interesting because I mean the point is the fight is interrupted, so we don't like portrayal would almost like necessitate a conclusion.
Well, based off what you've seen.
But that's hard to say because again, like what we saw was essentially nothing. Like one's not speed blitzing and one shotting the other. You know, it's not base
But yet,
Chocho versus
still,
Mamushi
I
out
mean,
here, but
the point is the reason why we don't know who's stronger is because based on what we saw, they were even enough to where we don't know who's stronger. So you don't know who would have won. It's the point. So I would say that that right there would suggest that it's 50-50. It could go either way. We don't know because obviously if you see the conclusion, you know, but that's because you saw the conclusion. The point is based on what you saw, they're presented as being about equal, right?
I wouldn't say we don't know would represent they're about equal because if we don't know, well, one could just have handedly won over the other, but we just don't know because we didn't see enough.
Well, but why would we ever think one could do that when they didn't?
Well, what I'm saying is like for example, the fight that we saw, it's possible that Sasuke could have won 9 times out of 10, but we just never got to see farther than what we did inevitably end up seeing for the rooftop clash.
Maybe you could just make the same argument on Naruto.
Yeah, you could, but that's my point. Is that one could be far above the other in the rooftop clash, but we didn't see enough to really like gauge them against each other. Because
I
I'm
feel
sure you
like
would
you saw
agree.
enough of their fighting style,
I
especially
see the problem
when
is
presented.
their fighting style wasn't really going all out. Like it's not doing all that much of what we did see. They just
So
had
let's
counters
think.
to each other's
So
normal
remove.
jutsus.
So I'll add in the next part here. Remove the curse mark parts of this fight because
Yeah.
obviously that's just Sasuke to be strong in there. Up until so Sasuke starts in the curse mark, then deactivates it and like reactivates it again. So ignore the first and second curse marks. So they do like one or two Rasengan clashes up to this point. In the later in the Sasuke Retrieval arc. So when they're just fighting base to base before he activates the curse mark and stabs Naruto. So before then, would you agree that they were pretty even at that point? If you go back and look at the fight, I went back and looked at the fights here because the point I was going to get to is that you see what happens. One on one, Sasuke does have the upper hand. He's faster, but Naruto makes up for that with his shadow clones. That's how he
Exactly.
fights.
Well, but then the problem
But
there
you
is
see
that
though, Naruto lands hits on Sasuke when using his clones.
well, okay, well the problem there as well, the hits he lands aren't very effective. Like he just like throws Sasuke around a little bit, but he's not really damaging him per se.
I mean, yeah, but it goes both ways, and neither of them were really
Well, yeah,
damaged. So
that's another thing, exactly. Like obviously Sasuke's popping the shadow clones, but you know, like that can just happen to like anything anyways. But like at the same time, Sasuke also just has the ability just to take out all of Naruto's clones if they're grouped together like he does with the fire style.
Yeah, but he can Naruto can just counter fire style with a Rasengan of arrow.
That's just so stupid.
That asks me how it makes sense. He can do it.
Yeah.
He's proven it.
Well, then again, like if we're taking that into account at the anime, then Naruto just in his base just tanks
He
fire
just
style
tanks.
in general. Yeah,
Exactly.
like he's trapped to the wire trap in the final valley. I don't even know
The
how
only
he got
reason it
out
worked
of
in the
that.
clones is because they're cloned, and anything else would have worked on them.
It's so stupid. No, so it really depends on if you think that Naruto's gonna like try and aim for his forehead or whatever to like sacrifice the fight just to prove the point or not. But okay, would you agree with me on this? I think hypothetically, if Kakashi and Sakura don't interrupt the fight, I think regardless, the Chidori Rasengan clash would have been the end of the fight, even if it equals out and they're both able to continue fighting. I don't think either of them would have felt the need to continue the fight
I agree.
beyond
I
that
think they
point.
would have stopped there. They would have been like huffing and puffing and just kind of like, and Sasuke probably would have like punched the wall, just been annoyed that he didn't win there or something. I don't know that they would have continued fighting either.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, I'm gonna plug in my other mic now. 1 second.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that. But that's definitely true. So whenever you're able to hear again,
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You can hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so what
the
yeah, I guess go ahead.
go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So okay, one thing I wanted to add is ignoring the amount of damage that they're dealing with are just like normal hits where they're in like the shadow clone exchange especially. It's also like the effectiveness of like the counters to where it's not just the fire style. Sasuke is able to just counter Naruto's clones just through normal taijutsu one at a time, even like
But then
together.
again, though, but then you can say Naruto's clones can counter Sasuke's taijutsu because he lands hits on them too. This happens in both.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Naruto.
I was gonna like that wasn't the end of my point there. But I was first of all, I was also gonna. This is a little bit disingenuous, but I was gonna kind of compare it to Kimimaro, how Kimimaro was kind of doing the same
Well,
idea.
no, hold
But
on.
it's
We're
not the
gonna
same,
get to
obviously.
that. We're gonna get to that because
Okay,
there's
okay.
a reason why this whole thing comes into play.
But my point here wasn't that. It was just leading to it to where the clones that's sorry the hits that are done against Sasuke usually leverages those hits to his advantage. For example, when Naruto throws Sasuke into the clothing, Sasuke uses that to like hide and move and go somewhere. I think Naruto might do the same thing at one point. Even.
Yeah. Because it's like so again, though, like obviously that would be Sasuke being quick thinking, which is smart. But at the same time, though, I come back to Naruto versus Kiba and say Naruto does the same thing in character too. So
That's fair. So okay, so this is where I guess it really gets down to it. I think if Sasuke keeps a level head and fights the way that Sasuke fights, he's gonna be able to just knock Naruto out through some like strategy. Like he's gonna do the chop to the back of the neck. He's gonna do the wire trap or something to get Naruto, just disable him, just dismantle him. But if he does fight Naruto using Naruto's fighting style of the like big flashy jutsu, where he's trying to counter him through power rather than his actual strength of his normal fighting style, that's when he's gonna lose. So if he fights in the same way that he fought against Tamari, then I think Sasuke has this. If Sasuke fights, I guess just how he would fight against Naruto otherwise, then I think Naruto might have it.
Okay. So I like your answer there, but that actually I'm gonna rephrase my question to make it better for the sake of where this leads to as far as the debate arguments go. Would you agree that in either case it's just a close fight? They're relative, they're very close to each other, regardless. Is that how it's presented? That they're close to each other, regardless if you think one's gonna win or not?
So here, okay. I'll say yes, but I want to elaborate on that to where I'm going to expand on the answer that you just said you liked. I think that Sasuke does have the advantage over Naruto, to where if Sasuke's fighting anyone else of Naruto's caliber, Sasuke's going to win. But when he's fighting Naruto, he'll just handedly win. Like it can be close, but Sasuke, regardless of close, Sasuke's going to win like 9 times out of 10. Again, like Tamari. You could say that Tamari's close to Sasuke. Let's just hypothetically say Tamari's close to Sasuke. Sasuke's going to win 9 out of 10 times.
Okay, because it's like 100 versus 95.
Yeah, but because it's Naruto that he's fighting, Sasuke is going to fight differently from how he normally is. So because it's Naruto, his strength over Naruto is like almost irrelevant.
Okay, so let me ask you this though. Let's go with your handedly win side of this. Would you say it's the difference between base Naruto and QBI Naruto's worth of handedliness over Naruto, or less than that? like in Sasuke's place, QBI Naruto versus base Naruto compared to Sasuke versus base Naruto. Who wins better?
Such a weird question. So you might need to re-ask it.
Ignoring the fact that we have all the evidence to point to later in the fight. Just ignore the Final Valley fight, which we just clearly would say QBI Naruto. Ignore that. Don't even consider it. Just based off what you've seen up to the rooftop.
So
do you think it is by as much of a gap as Naruto getting his QBIs would be, or do you think it's clearly closer than Naruto's amp there?
Well, up to that point, when have we seen Naruto with the QBIs actually fighting?
Versus Orochimaru and versus Haku.
Oh, I guess
Technically
Orochimaru would be the
Gaara
best example. Yeah, I'm not going to count Gaara because he didn't fight when he had the QBIs. Yeah. People don't even remember that happened, honestly. See, the thing is, I feel like whereas the QBI versus Orochimaru is a good thing to point to, it's also just like a weird showing of Naruto anyways, because he's just like punching the snake and it looks like the punches are really strong, but like it's not doing anything to the snake. But like Naruto's like wild there, but he doesn't seem overly fast, but he just seems like a beast that's like dangerous, but like not like
that one is weird, I will admit.
Can like a mentally amped Naruto do the same thing, just less bombastically? It's like, I don't know.
No.
Seems like Naruto was just really like trying to go all out there. I don't know. But I do feel like the Neji example would technically be better, where he's just like getting the amp from the QB chakra regardless of race.
Yeah, the problem, well, I mean, you can still consider that, because that is something I can ask Jay, which amp do you think is stronger, the QBI'd amp or the Neji fight cloak? But I don't need that one necessarily. But if push came to shove, we could incorporate that.
Well, that's the thing, because we can't say which one is. Well, we could make a guess of which one is stronger. But I think it's easier to point to the cloak form as being more clearly depicted as stronger, or like consistently, or like you can see, well, I would say
it's pretty consistent that the QBI'd form is just depicted as stronger and faster and everything.
Well, okay, what I mean by that is it's easier to measure how much stronger it is compared to base, as opposed to the QBI'd form.
Well, I think the Haku fight makes it pretty clear.
The Haku fight is more than just QBIs, though. It's like weird.
I know, that one's just weird. Okay. So I was telling you to just ignore the retrieval arc fight, but we don't need to do that. Just pay attention to that one. Would you say that one makes it pretty clear to measure?
Which fight?
The Final Valley fight.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was a weird way you could have worded that, but even though it's like, well, that one is clearly stronger. So.
Yeah. So okay. So again, back to my question. Would you, assuming Sasuke isn't like borderline equal to Naruto on the rooftop, he's stronger, would you say he's as much stronger as QBI Naruto is compared to base Naruto?
I'm sorry, you're throwing so much at me here. Can you just repeat the question? I was just thinking when you were saying that.
Assuming you just have Sasuke over Naruto, though, you're not going to say they're borderline equals. You're just saying Sasuke is stronger.
Yes.
Okay, that's the assumption. Do you think he's stronger? Is he as much stronger than base Naruto as QBI Naruto versus base Naruto? Do you think the gap is this as big as that?
Okay.
And after you answer, regardless of your answer, I'm gonna continue with something just to see how far we can push this.
So would this be
But I
like?
want you to give your actual answer
Would
first.
this be Sasuke with or without a Sharingan? Or like
Whatever
how
he's
you
doing on the rooftop, which is with his two Tomoe Sharingan.
with the two Tomoe Sharingan? Okay, because that's a big deal. Because that's what he's using against Gaara and stuff.
Yeah.
Part of the problem is it depends on if you consider whether or not Sasuke just has his Lee speed permanently after this, or if he just never uses it
Well,
again.
see that's a whole other can of worms we can get into because
It's like dropped out of it's weird.
well yeah so honestly you can make a lot of arguments in
Yeah.
regards to that, and I say real quick because I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not presented as though he is using the Lee speed ever again. You can see maybe in Shippuden, but it's like a different speed when you get to there. But
Exactly.
yeah, it's not presented as though he is using the Lee speed whatsoever. And the argument you could just make is it just took up too much of his stamina. He only used it versus Gar because it's specifically what he needed. It was the best thing because it's the only thing he could do. Whereas versus other opponents, it's just a wiser use of his stamina to not waste it all on the Lee speed. It just uses stamina more holistically for his whole arsenal. That's how I would explain it. But you could argue he's just always had. To be honest, that's the best way to get around the borderline plot hole that we're going to get into in terms of the power scaling. That's how you would have to argue around it.
Sure.
But
Real
it does
quick,
get us to an interesting point that we can still use. So it doesn't matter in my opinion. But regardless, continue.
So not to segue to a different topic, because I know you want to continue this topic with a point because we're in the middle of something that you're trying to get to. But I do want to just quickly just say, I feel like the whole Lee thing would just be, in general, more consistent. And we'd have to check the Japanese for this. Maybe it is this. If it's not speed, but movement that Sasuke's copying. He's not, like, his speed doesn't make sense anyways. If he's copying Lee's movement, and that's what's specifically effective against Gaara, for whatever reason, it's Lee's form that is good to get around Gaara's sand to punch Gaara, rather than anything else. Because, I mean, that is what he's doing for the for the Lotus anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is that in a way, because what Sasuke did was copy Lee's. Well, I guess he just copied the primary Lotus move, and he just did those movements over and over again until he got to be Lee's speed, basically, is what he did. So he used Lee's form to amp his speed, essentially through training, like as his training. It's basically what he did.
I mean, what Kakashi says, and this doesn't make any sense at all, but Kakashi says, just imagine how Lee fights and copy that with your Sharingan.
I know, it doesn't make sense because Sasuke didn't see the Lee moves that he used versus Gaara that he uses versus Gaara later.
Exactly.
The only moves he really saw was the kick you in the air and jump up in the air move.
So I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to say that has to be wrong, since that breaks the Sharingan for the entirety of the rest of the franchise.
Before and after.
Exactly. Why doesn't Sarada just imagine how Shibai moves? Come on. But
yeah, I mean, Iki, what do we rate that? Just imagine how part one went. Just imagine how Shibai fights.
So I think more realistically, what had to have happened there, and I think this does make sense, when Kakashi uses his Sharingan to watch Lee, he's also copying Lee's moves, and then
showed Lee. I showed Sasuke.
And I think that's writing-wise, I think that's the coolest way to do it as well.
Yeah. The funny thing about that, though, is, so, okay, you could argue this is using Lee here makes more sense to keep the power scaling more consistent, I guess, but it would be funny if Kakashi just screw Lee. He just shows him guys. And Sasuke's just guy level.
Kakashi's stupid.
Yeah, I know. Why does this sort of just copy David? Solve a lot of problems.
Exactly. Don't tell Mello that.
Yeah, he thinks they'll nerf her.
Okay, but getting back on track, and at some point we should check what they say there.
This is just stupid. Absolutely, the most stupid thing ever. Okay, screw Jura sniping Sarada. You want to know why Sarada's eye exploded?
Why?
This isn't going to be the case, but this is the funniest thing.
I think I have an
Sarada tried to
idea.
kill Ada at that moment, not Mamushi, and then David reflected it.
Okay, I'm so down.
As for why, it could be a lot of reasons. She just
Okay,
wanted her
no,
dead,
okay.
or maybe she said, "Oh, we'll never beat Mamushi, so I'll kill Ada first."
Actually, the funniest answer, Damon trolled Sarada by secretly in the background touching a Mamushi clone when Sarada did that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, actually. No, he didn't even troll it. Sarada was just that dumb and didn't even consider the fact that Damon was touching a Mamushi clone.
Oh, that's so funnily the best way to do it.
That's why she exploded.
Oh my god.
But
Ironically,
anyway.
I do think I know I don't want to do random topics, but ironically, there could be some cool linking there to where something like that could happen when Damon touched Ada and all of the heads explode, assuming that it was that all of their sharing one linked consciousness and that's why their heads exploded. Assuming that's the case, it'd be cool if when Damon touches Ada, so they're all linked consciousness, the intent is reflecting back all into all of them. If somehow that's going to work to get to reflecting Sarada's attacking Mamushi somehow, like they could do some
Or
cool,
what if?
weird
Okay,
thing.
hold on. I'm gonna go back and relook at what they said about how. Did they say in this chapter or previous chapter when they explain how Mamushi like looks into like the eyes or whatever it was that he does exactly? How did they say that again? Like it was
into his eyes.
Specific on how that worked.
All I know is that I'm adding a 28th right now. And it's gonna be exactly what we just said. Damon touches Mamushi to reflect.
Where do they say the eye thing? It might have been the previous chapter. Yeah.
So Damon can solo. Oh crap! Okay, that did go over. I was afraid of that. See, now I can't take that away. Okay, I'm just gonna have to.
Do you remember where they say it?
Okay, I'm sorry. What are you looking for?
When they explain how like Mamushi like sees into the person's eyes or whatever to explain how he gets his information or whatever, like.
It's when he's the.
Oh yeah, Ada says I suspect he can gather intel from looking into other people's eyes. Okay, just gather intel. I could say like maybe you could argue he looked into Sarada's eyes and that did something, but it's just gather intel.
Yeah.
So I don't think that'll be applicable here.
You can just like see who's looking at him.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just gonna put that down there. Okay.
Well, anyway, what were we talking about before that?
Okay, so back to your thing of the difference in the gap of power between.
Oh yeah, that.
So it was normal Naruto versus QBI Naruto, and then Sasuke.
Rooftop Sasuke versus base Naruto.
Okay, so did I give an answer? Where are we in this?
Not yet, no.
So
you have not done so yet.
So you said up to that point, but now we're including it.
I mean, you can factor in the final Valley fight where it's base to Tomoe Sasuke versus base Naruto too. So just don't include the curse mark parts.
What I'll say, I think it's going to be similar to Neji, to where because of their dojutsu, ironically, the thing that makes them stronger, their Sharingan and the Byakugan, both Sasuke and Neji, when they looked at Ninetales Naruto, they saw the Ninetales and they both freaked out because of that. If they don't do that, both of them fight better. So that's to say...
Okay.
Well, also, I do think that...
I agree, but But in the case of Sasuke, at least, he was just losing. Like, Neji is fighting evenly to where him being shook, you could say, okay, yeah, him being normal might actually just win because they were so, like, even, basically. But, like, Sasuke was just losing. I don't know
The
if that would have been
problem
enough.
there, it's because it's the same thing for both of them. Neither of them are going on the offensive. They're both either reacting or trying to like run away to get time to refocus or whatever they're trying to do there. Neither of them are going for the attack. That's
Where are
part
you
of the
talking about?
problem.
The Sasuke fight?
For both the Naruto versus Neji and Naruto versus Sasuke. Naruto's just overwhelming with his Nine Tails at that point in time. He's starting the attack and he's unrelentingly staying on the attack. He's not giving them time to counterattack necessarily.
I mean, Neji at least threw a shuriken.
That's more reacting to Naruto. That's still Naruto making the first move.
Okay, but either way, I mean, like, I mean, honestly, Oodie, when you watch what Kamui Naruto does to two double Sasuke, do you really think Naruto isn't stronger there?
What? Okay, for a comparison of what you just said with Neji, well, Sasuke threw Shuriken at Orochimaru at the beginning of their fight when he's saying, "Stay away!" Neji just didn't say that. Are you gonna say that Sasuke made the first move there?
Well, technically, Orochimaru already made the first move. It's just blatantly.
So what I'm saying, first of all, you remove the water scenario because that was just ridiculous. To where Naruto's clones are just below the water attacking Sasuke, anyways. You remove the water, you put him on like solid ground to where it's a level, even playing field, and you just restart the fight to where Sasuke's not scared. Sasuke does significantly better there, but it's also I feel like the
Okay, he can do better, but are they equal or does he lose still?
he probably loses by just a little bit, maybe, but like I could see it going.
Yeah, but then I ask you, either do you think the QB amp is just really not very much, or do you think Sasuke was that much stronger than base Naruto?
I do think Sasuke was fairly stronger than base Naruto. I mean, Sasuke was really strong at that point in time. We just disagree on how strong Sasuke was in the Sasuke retrieval arc, especially at the beginning. But ignoring that part, I also think the rage aspect of it did combine because at some points in the fight he just does have the QB chakra as well. So it's not just the eyes; it is both at some points. But I think that Amp was a lot stronger than what he did versus Neji, to where he still has this like frame of mind, because it's not just the Amp, it's also the wild fighting style, the like unpredictable fighting
the problem
style.
with that is that can work better and worse. It kind of just depends on what Naruto's doing. So
I mean, it seems to always work for Naruto. Well, here's the problem, because
for example, I mean, I understand this is just Naruto's quick thinking at the end of the clash, but like the QBI clone seemingly isn't gonna do the shadow clone trick that he did with Neji, the bury underground thing.
At that point, I think that Naruto had exhausted all of his Nine Tails chakra anyways.
Yeah, but either way, my point being, Naruto with the cloak is in Naruto's mind, so he would. That's just Naruto's plan. I don't think QBI Naruto's coming up with that.
Well, yeah, he's doing like shadow clone things that are like unpredictable, but not like strategy to try and catch his opponent off guard. It just catches him off guard because he's fighting like a wild beast. And that's part of the problem.
Yeah, but my point just being, is it inherently better? It just kind of depends. Sometimes it works better. Sometimes Naruto being in his right headspace would be better.
So
like you're not going to see everywhere Shuriken and the QBI clones.
Here's the problem with these two different forms from a writer's perspective, because this is a fictional series and it's written first before anything else. The Nine Tails cloak, like what he uses against Neji, to where he's in a normal mind state, that's, like we were saying earlier, it's a measurable amp. You can see, and this is Battle Shonen, so the power scaling matters. You can see the power scaling aspect there, to where Naruto can, writing-wise, be overcome. You know, he's beating Neji, but like Neji still is standing a chance. But like versus Kisame, it was an instant negative. He went into the form and instantly was out of it. Kisame was just better. You can do that with that form of Naruto. You can't really do that with the QBI form. Narratively, that's just not how a form like that works. You write that form of Naruto, it doesn't matter who his opponent is, whether it's a movie villain, whether it's the main villain of Sasuke, whether it's Urashiki. That form of Naruto does well. He doesn't have to win, but he has to dominate as he's fighting. That's just how you write that form of Naruto. When he's in the Nine Tails rage.
Okay, wins. 2 things. One, I mean, would you say he was dominating versus Orochimaru?
Do you mean like the
Four Tails fight? You said yourself. I mean, all he really did is just kind of like punch the snake off, and then Orochimaru just grabbed him with his tongue.
Oh, well, yeah. No, I would say so. I think that Naruto showing there was exactly as... I feel like, in a way, this is like a law of writing the Naruto series. That version of Naruto, by default, has to do well. He can't just be outclassed or whatever. It can't even be close.
Okay, but again, as you mentioned, it's a shonen, power scaling matters. Narrative comes first, so you and I both agree that, well, I think you should incorporate feats and stuff, but like, narrative and power scaling, there's a lot of overlap. You shouldn't just ignore all narrative for your power scaling, but likewise, you shouldn't just ignore all power scaling in the narrative. I mean, they both are interwoven on purpose. So, using your narrative analysis you just made, I mean, so yeah, Naruto's dominating, so he's stronger.
But at that point, it doesn't matter whose opponent is. Naruto dominates Shiba.
No, because he doesn't have to win. Orochimaru.
Well, he doesn't have to win, but he dominated Orochimaru for the
He didn't dominate Orochimaru. He dominated the snake.
He didn't fight Orochimaru.
I mean, he did. Orochimaru just sent a snake at him, so that was Orochimaru's jutsu there.
Well, then he fought, like you said, he fought the snake.
Yeah, and then Orochimaru stepped in and won.
That was after he fought the snake. And won, by the way.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, it sounds like we're coming to an agreement. QBI Naruto was stronger. I don't care if he had to be, he was. So well, okay. Actually, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. We're idiots, Oodie.
Yeah.
I can break your lore.
Oh, Kimimaro. Okay, well, Kimimaro is...
Kimimaro dominated him!
No. Well, that's the thing. Kimimaro is the exception. Not to the rule, but to all of Naruto's laws of writing. It's the exception in every regard.
I mean, that's true, though. Oh, paralyzed? Just move with the power of your mind.
Reason number 426 why Kimimaro is my favorite character.
He makes all the rules. But I mean, but the fact is, there you go. Naruto didn't have to win. But
see, the problem, well, Naruto's not fighting like the QB Rage form anyways, and that's what I'm assuming when you say QBI, you mean QB Rage. So how he's fighting in the Gaara fight when he's QBI, that's not QB Rage. He's not fighting like a fox.
That was just for the summoning jutsu anyway.
Yeah, so when he's actually, because he's not doing that versus Kimimaro, he's not fighting like a fox at all.
No, he is. He's just getting bodied.
So I don't mean that he has to like be like on all fours or anything, but like he's not fighting any more unpredictably than he normally would. If anything, his clones are like standing there just 90% of the time waiting for Kimimaro to run up to them for some reason.
Well, that's because Kimimaro is that fast.
I mean, to be fair, that's the same thing Naruto's clones did versus Neji, so maybe that's just how Naruto's clones normally
It is. I mean, it's what he does to Sasuke on the rooftop, too. It's just kind of what he does.
True, yeah.
Which is what Naruto does. He just has a few go at a time in character. But that alone was enough to bridge the gap between Sasuke's speed to even it out, so...
I think the only 2 times he doesn't do that is his handbook versus Gaara and versus Mizuki off screen in episode 1.
Yeah, I mean, technically, we don't know if versus Mitsuki he did a feud at the time, but I'm gonna assume not.
I assume not.
But yeah, I mean, versus Gara is legit like the time where no, every clone is just everywhere a shuriken, bro. Like they're all just actually doing it.
Yeah.
But I guess you could say versus Kiba too when he does the Uzumaki barrage, but he also only has like 5 or 10 or
Exactly. I'm not
whatever.
gonna count that.
Yeah. But either way, so I'm just gonna give you this though. Okay, so regardless, I do think that QBI Naruto, like Rage Naruto, is just stronger than Tsutomu Sasuke at this point. But regardless, we're just gonna say you and everyone else say no, they're equal. Do you think saying Sasuke is stronger than that Naruto is just clearly too far? Nobody's gonna actually say that. In good faith, anyway.
Two Tomoe Sharingan Sasuke stronger than the QBI Rage form
Rage
Naruto?
QBI Naruto, yeah. Like, do you think that it's just like, okay, Jay's not gonna say that, you're not gonna say that, we're gonna give him equal at max? Like, do you feel like that's pretty fair? Like, Jay's probably not gonna pick that.
QBI Rage form, as in like the Zero Tails form, like he doesn't have the chakra cloak.
Yes, he just has the eyes and the fangs and claws and stuff. No cloak. No one tail.
I think you could make a case for Sasuke as long as Sasuke is in like a normal environment and mindset.
Sasuke's stronger than that.
Well, like if Sasuke,
No,
okay.
Sasuke's not that much over.
So if you take Sasuke's mindset as he's fighting Orochimaru or Haku, and you put it in the fight versus the Nine Tails Naruto, you might be looking at a completely different fight.
Okay, and I'm gonna give you equal, but do you actually think he's stronger? Considering the narrative, a big moment was the third Tomoe allowing him to get there. And he was in a good mind space in that moment.
It was allowing him to surpass it by a decent margin there. But if that's the case,
so good mindset and surpassing his limits with a new upgrade is when he's winning. So remove the upgrade part. I think he's getting tied at best.
It depends on if you think... Well, first of all, okay, so here's first of all, would you agree there's a flaw to the Nine Tails form in the regards to it uses up a lot of energy, not just healing, but being in that mindset form for Naruto anyways? I think it just uses a lot of energy to where he's going to run out of steam.
Okay. I'm gonna use that against you then. Okay, I'm gonna use that against you. So Naruto is severely nerfed in the Final Valley then.
Because of the Kimimaro fight?
Yeah, he wasted all that energy with the QBI form.
No, I'm just... I mean, regardless of the QBI form, he just did like 1,000 clones versus Kimimaro.
I mean, yeah, but like, let's just take it to the extreme. Okay, so QBI really nerfed him. Okay. So he was just severely weakened and he was still beating. I feel like now you're really going to have to push your buttons here to say Sasuke's stronger.
Well, first of all, this is why I think Naruto loses the fight in the first place. I mean, you could say Chidori, but I think it's because Naruto just... It's similar to like how the Nine Tails form literally physically damages his skin, burns it off in like stage 4, or like even like stage 3. It's like hurting Naruto physically. I think being in like the Nine Tails Rage form, it has like attacks on Naruto's body. It just uses up like a lot of its energy to be in that form.
I mean, that's reasonable enough, but again, that just means he's that much more nerfed when he does it versus Sasuke. So that's not a full power QBI.
Well, okay. The funniest interpretation there is he is nerfed. The second he lands on Hashirama's statue at the very beginning, before Naruto's huffing and puffing.
See, there's proof.
Exactly.
And if that's the case, remember, Sasuke got carried the whole way there. Naruto had to run all those miles. So, I mean, yeah. This is so. I mean, are you gonna
Sasuke got to sleep the previous night. Naruto's pulled an all-nighter.
Exactly. Okay, see, there you go. So, what was that again about Tsutomu Sasuke possibly being stronger than QBI Naruto?
Part of the problem is I feel like when Naruto goes in the QBI form, it almost doesn't matter where he was at previously. Like again, versus Haku, he was unconscious 10 seconds prior because of his damage. He's stronger than Kakashi immediately after. It's just being in the Ninetales form just heals him automatically. Just gives him a fresh stock, basically. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's basically what it did versus Neji.
Exactly, yeah. Same thing. Literally. I don't know, it's
regardless,
weird.
okay, I think in hindsight, the best way to do this point is to just start with who do you think was stronger, Tomoe Sasuke or Kyuubi Rage Naruto? So that he's just instinctively gonna be like, oh, Naruto. So you don't add all this nuance like you are here. So then if you start there, we can work our way backwards.
Sure. I feel like even
anyway,
me pushing this conversation as far as I am is also just helping you for that J conversation inevitably, no matter what, regardless. So there you go. Yeah. You're welcome. But so, again,
let's just say.
So for me, I think the biggest, most important thing out of this conversation that is my takeaway, I just think it's a completely different caliber that you'd have to measure the two different forms of Naruto, the Ninetales Rage form and then the Ninetales Cloak form. I think those are just two. You can't like power scale in the same way because like writing wise, you do have to factor that in my opinion.
Yeah, but then
that's
you
like
would just
my
use
biggest
power scaling based on what you see with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't apply that to like the J debate. I would just like take that as like its own separate thing.
Okay. Well, yeah, because I don't think he's gonna want to hear that.
Yeah, exactly.
But regardless, we're just gonna say
I did want to add. I'm so sorry. I wanted to say this earlier. I wanted to add when you were talking about you should account for feats anyways. I understand why you're saying that, but for the QBI Rage form, because feats for me are something that we as the audience are observing by looking backwards at what the series has already done. Whereas when you're thinking about like from the writer's perspective, whether it's Kishimoto writing the manga, and he knows that he's about to do the Ninetales form in a fight, or the Rage form in particular, or like the movie writers, when they know Naruto needs to go Ninetales Rage form here, how are we going to depict that against this opponent? Again, Naruto shouldn't win if it's like the middle of the movie or whatever. Obviously, he can't defeat the villain. But you know that you're going to write it in a way that has to have this form of Naruto look cool, regardless of how it is. He's going to dominate, because that's the point of writing in the form in the first place. It's like the spectacle of Naruto. This is the thing that you're here for. So it's like, in my opinion, you'd have to look at it looking forwards rather than backwards, from like the writer's perspective rather than from the audience perspective, if that makes sense.
Well, that's why I just like to be careful with the types of feats I use. Like the feat of just being stronger than the other person, I think is fair. But like the feat of the wind blowing an extra mile an hour faster, I'm not going to use that.
Well, that's why I think feats for the Ninetales Cloak form, absolutely, that's completely fair. But I feel like feats is like the wrong mindset of how to even go about trying to power scale the Rage form.
We'll just go with who's depicted as stronger. Clearly Naruto. It's the point is that it's stronger.
Oh god.
But anyway,
part of the problem is it's just two different fighting styles. Like Naruto and Sasuke have entirely opposite arsenals, even in the war arc, but they're supposed to be equals.
Well, I mean, the same goes to Kakashi and Guy.
Yeah. I mean, they're a little.
But also, I mean, again, if we're gonna incorporate the narrative, yeah, I don't think Sasuke is stronger than Kyuubi Naruto, because the narrative is implying Sasuke and Naruto in base are very close.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do think that just like the like Kabuto assassin, dark evil Danzo Anbu fighting style, where they're gonna like sneak up behind you and cut your head off. I feel like that's entirely different from Naruto's bombastic, flashy, powerful display of explosive force. The hyperactive, knuckleheaded #1 ninja.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
But like, it's weird to say that like you would like compare the two to say that they're equals based on that different type of fighting style.
Yeah, I know, but I get it. That's the thing, though. You know how I like to do versus battles and power scaling tier lists and stuff. I factor it all in. In the Naruto universe, who are they going to call stronger? If the person with their super cool ninja tactic abilities is letting them beat these people who are Kyuubi Naruto Rage, super flashy strong guy, then I'm going to say he's stronger. Now, in the case of Sasuke, if Sasuke had, hypothetically, pulled out the substitution jutsu and the body flicker jutsu and the Jiraiya's whatever jutsu and was beating TBI Naruto because of it, I'm gonna say Sasuke's better. But he wasn't.
Oh, I mean, to an extent, again, like if you compare,
but also
because I mean, know, at all points in time during the Naruto fight, he has a mindset. The mindset can change, but at all points in time, he has a very certain mindset when he's fighting Naruto compared when he's fighting someone else. Again, like Tamari, I feel like that's the best example.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But again, actually, and I was about to say this, so I'm glad you're saying that. It actually doesn't matter for our cases in this Sasuke point. The reason why. The point we're actually getting to here is ultimately speed.
Sure, yeah, probably.
Sasuke's slower than Naruto here. Can you at least agree on that? Regardless of his mindset, he's slower. He has a Sharingan for precog and is still getting hit. He's just slower than Naruto.
I'd be fine with that as long as you are also accounting for Naruto's hits being wilder than they normally would anyways, which would just normally throw Sasuke off in general, or just any.
That's fine. I get. So you can either say his Sharingan is now irrelevant because of that, or he's so wild that his Sharingan just brings him back to normal baseline against the normal.
Exactly. Like I don't think it's irrelevant. It's like almost bridging the gap. Because I mean, we see when he gets a 3 Tomoe, he's able to read Nine-Tails Naruto's wild movements anyways. But I do think it's like a weird middle ground. I don't think it was
the wildness of the movements. I think Naruto was just too fast.
Well, I think when he gets a 3 Tomoe, Naruto's also just not really moving all that much wilder than normal. Anyways, he's just moving fast.
I know, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I agree Naruto fights like a wild beast. I don't think the wildness was a factor here in terms of Sasuke reading his movements. It was with the one-tail cloak because the chakra is moving on its own and all that. Yeah. But the other form is Naruto just being strong and wild, and that's all there was to it. Like, you're not going to say that, oh no, Sasuke's just going to dominated by Kiva because he fights like a wild beast. No, you're not going to say that. So I don't want to hear
But here's the thing, because okay, you can factor in all of Sasuke's jutsu, the fireball jutsu, the Chidori, oh, those are amping his strength. He doesn't need all that when he can just freaking do what he did against Sakura. Like, if he could just go behind Naruto, chop him in the back of the neck, knock him out, he doesn't need anything else. And Sasuke can do that. He's completely capable of doing that.
He's too slow, and Naruto in that cloak might just be too strong.
Oh, you meant like versus the cloak. Well, first of all, this is funny, but in movie 2, we do see something like that with Temujin. But like Naruto, that was like an off-guard feat. Like Naruto wasn't expecting that. But like it's the same. Like Sasuke could have done that against Tamari. He was in the mindset to where he would have been more than willing to do that against Tamari. He took her out doing some other method, but that doesn't mean that he was unwilling or incapable.
He debated or that Chidori on
her. I mean, that's funny too. Obviously, he is whatever there, but like he's just getting through Tamari as like like he's looking past Tamari to guard to get through Tamari as quickly as possible. He doesn't want to spend time on Tamari because he doesn't even want to fight Tamari, so he's just getting through Tamari as quickly. It's like running the gauntlet for Sasuke. He's just going through it. And like if he treated Naruto like that, he's just doing the Sakura, get behind him, chop in the back of his neck, and there you go. And like when he activates his curse mark and he does get behind Naruto, and like he does hit him, and then he does Chidori afterwards to kill him, he could have just knocked Naruto out there instead.
I mean, yeah, he could have, but that's curse mark Sasuke anyway. He's in the position to do that.
I mean, seemingly the Nine-Tails can't take over when Naruto's unconscious, so there you go. We'll want the fight.
Is that true?
Seemingly, yeah. Can you think of an instance?
That's what I'm trying to think back.
I mean, the only thing we have is like Naruto dying in the search for Tsunade arc, and the Nine-Tails says everything's going dark. It's like the closest thing we have.
Yeah, the beast's dying. So
if you want to count Naruto being like suplexed versus Sasuke in the final fight right before the One-Tails cloak comes out.
That's what I was gonna say. Like I was trying to think of like, is he like unconscious there?
The problem is the Nine-Tails is talking to Naruto anyways. Like he's floating in his mind in the same way he's floating in the water. So it's
but he could just do that later on.
But also like Naruto's conscious there. At the very least, as soon as he wakes up. So it's like it's not the Nine-Tails fighting, it's Naruto fighting. I mean, you could say the Nine-Tails forced him awake, but at that point, he's also already in the Nine Tails' form.
That's a tough one. I'm just trying to think, but
also, like, Naruto's eyes were, like, wide open. Like, was he ever even unconscious there, actually?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But regardless, yeah, I think Naruto's just blatantly faster.
Sure. Not to say Sasuke doesn't have ways to get around it, but sure.
Yeah, but regardless, so I'm gonna be charitable. We're just gonna say they're equal in speed. Okay? I'm just gonna give you that. Okay. So I'm gonna work against myself here.
Okay.
Now, we mentioned it earlier. You seemingly agreed. I'll say it again. When Naruto's slower, like for example, Naruto versus Sasuke on the rooftop, he'll make up for the difference with his clones. That's consistently what he does. It consistently will work. You see that's pretty equal. Like, Naruto will have like 5 clones fighting Sasuke, and he'll be able to land a hit that way, and Sasuke will be able to land a hit on Naruto because he's faster, but they're going to both land hits on each other pretty equally. Naruto just uses numbers while the other person uses speed. If you want to count it, there's Naruto's Regent combo thing that's compared to Lee, which is all speed. So there you go, another comparison there. Do you agree with that idea?
I mean, yeah, it sounds like.
Okay. So versus Kimimaro, Naruto has both the numbers and the QB cloak. So even if one QBI Naruto is equal to Sasuke, even though he's faster, let's just say he's equal. Well, he's got the numbers advantage now, which means 1118 QBI Narutos should be able to land more hits on Sasuke than Sasuke vice versa, because he's got equal speed and his numbers advantage. Do you agree there?
Sure.
Well, Kimimaro thinks that Lee is more difficult than that Naruto, and he thinks he's faster.
That's true.
Lee is... I gave Sasuke the benefit of the doubt. He just is faster than Sasuke.
To be fair, I do think difficulty... You're not going to like this as an argument at all. At all. You're going to hate this. I think difficulty could factor in not the strength of the user, but almost like the annoyance level it is to fight them.
Why is Lee more annoying to fight?
So,
Not
as an example,
just regularly.
As an example, let's say, for right now, just hypothetically, let's say Sasuke is definitely above Naruto in the Land of Waves. That 10 times out of 10, Sasuke beats Naruto in a fight in the Land of Waves, if they fought. However, let's just say that Haku would consider Naruto a more annoying fighter than Sasuke when in the Ice Mirrors.
Yeah, that's like a matchup thing in that case.
What do you mean by matchup?
For example, I would argue for versus Gaara, like Sasuke with the whole strongest opponent thing. From Gaara's perspective, like Sasuke has Chidori, but whereas Lee doesn't. So Lee can never actually like beat Gaara because of that. But Sasuke can.
We'll get to that
versus
later.
Gaara, Sasuke's worse.
But what I mean by that is I think that Sasuke does better. He gets closer to beating Haku and getting out of the mirrors than Naruto would if they were like to do it like a 1v1, Sasuke versus Haku, Naruto versus Haku. But I think that Haku would prefer to fight Sasuke, despite Sasuke being quote-unquote stronger. So Sasuke's a worse matchup, but he's a less annoying fighter.
Yeah, but in that sense, I don't think that applies to Lee.
Yeah, but it's possible.
It's also not seemingly what Kimimaro was getting at either.
I mean, regardless of what he's getting at, it's a possible interpretation.
It's possible, sure, but I don't think it's the most likely one.
Yeah.
Lee's a more difficult opponent, and he's faster.
Well, as an example,
so this got into the earlier question, though, when I asked, do you think Naruto had a greater increase in strength, equal increase, or less increase in strength from the Chunin exams to Sasuke True compared to the other members of his team, ignoring Choji because pills? So even though now you have the context for it, I'm still gonna ask you again anyway.
Well, obviously, and I'm sure Jay would say this because this is what I thought we originally were asking it anyways. I think there's context there as well because Naruto ignoring Gamabunta as a summoning. So we'll just put that to the side entirely. Ignore it entirely. Ignoring that, Naruto learns the Rasengan, which is like an A rank technique, blah, blah, blah. Ignoring the rank of the technique, it's freaking the Rasengan, it's the Chidori rival, it's the Minato jutsu, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So he gains that, but everyone else doesn't really gain any new jutsu. So for everyone else,
true.
Well, I mean, you get the idea.
Shiba gets Wolf Fang over Fang. Shikamaru gets Shadow Strangle.
Blah blah blah. But it's more so for everyone else. It's more of the stat increase than anything of them just like.
I don't think Shikamaru got
arsenal.
a noticeable stat increase.
I think it's more of them mastering the arsenal they currently have rather than developing anything new per se.
Okay, but either way, in terms of overall shinobi combat, do you think Naruto had a more substantial increase in his shinobi combat abilities, about equal, or less of an increase? Compared to Lee, Kiba, Neji, and Shikamaru.
If you're countering developing new jutsu for Naruto developing the Rasengan, I think that's stronger than anything else developed. But if you consider just the stat increase, that could play a different factor. We don't know. Well,
the overall.
I mean, it also depends on how well you consider Naruto using Rasengan, because Rasengan, as a concept, is such a strong technique. It, by default, bodies anything anyone had. So. But when Naruto has it, and the way Naruto uses it, that could also play a factor.
It works on Jonin. When Naruto does it.
Well, I mean, at that point, you could just say, oh, well, if Neji managed to hit a Jonin in the heart with his gentle fist, it would kill him.
Could you say the same about Shikamaru's Shadow Strangle?
If Shikamaru put the Shadow Strangle in someone's eye and squeezed it, I think it would explode.
Oh, I know. Why doesn't he do that, bro? Some strategist. He should have just blown out Tayuya's like tongue so she can't like use her like genjutsu properly.
So stupid, I love it. Oh my god. Okay, that would have actually been kind of funny, is if Shikamaru broke Tayuya's finger in spite for Shikamaru having to break his own finger.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my
That'd be really funny. It is not all that breaks the genjutsu.
Yes. But also,
anyway, no, but like,
Naruto's being trained by Jiraiya as well, so having a Sannin teacher, that's at the end of the time skip, or sorry, I guess at the end of part 1, going into the time skip, that's what everyone else is saying. Oh, Naruto's gonna be way stronger because of this guy teaching him for years. Oh, he gotta stay relevant and keep training hard. So you could say, based on that Naruto probably should have a little bit stronger of an increase than others based on that.
Yeah, because again, like, if we go from the prelims, so obviously Neji just did whatever training he did. Shikamaru did whatever training he did with Asuma. Kiba, we don't really know what he did, but like, he is whatever prelims to Sasuke. So Naruto, we do know, okay? He trains with Jiraiya, works on Nine-Tails chakra control, learns to summon Gamabunta, which even though he's not using that in these cases, the act of him training to do that, all those, you gotta factor in, all those shadow clones beating each other up Naruto does, that is just training. Like, he's exhausting himself, he's getting stronger by doing that. His base got stronger. The summoning jutsu is just like the other thing. Then he does the Rasengan training. Similarly, like, bro is using his chakra, exhausting his chakra. He should be getting stronger from that in all aspects. Even though it's the jutsu's the main thing, he should just be getting stronger by nature of doing all that. So, Naruto, we have very specific, big things he's been doing, some pretty big training. And so I ask you, do you think he had a less of a growth increase than the other members of his team? About the same, you think it equals out, like Naruto learns Rasengan, Shikamaru Shadow Possession, Wolf Fang for Fang, 128 bombs on. Or do you think Naruto just grew more because of all the shit he did? All the character growth. Kiba did not have to go through that, but like he wasn't doing the freaking search for Tsunade arc of character growth and bets and promises of a lifetime and all that shit. Okay, he just trained with his mom. So factoring that in too. What do you think?
It's
Naruto's growth compared to the others. Less, equal, or more?
Part of the problem is that Naruto's range is so much larger than everyone else, who's a lot more consistent in both their ceiling and their floor compared to Naruto. So that also factors into it, because like you have prelims Naruto, then you have Gaara fight Naruto.
Okay, to be fair, whereas prelims fight did at least set the 5-prong seal.
I know.
That was also pre-training.
Yes, it's pre-training, but like still.
But we're also gonna ignore, like, again, the outlier mental amps, like the Gaara fight.
Yeah,
She's not gonna factor that in here. Okay. She's not gonna get that benefit because otherwise we're just gonna say Naruto, obviously, for everything.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say that Naruto probably got, if equal, then not stronger than everyone else.
Okay.
In that regard. He was probably within them all at the beginning, at least the underdog.
So perfect. Naruto grew at least as much as the rest of the team. So get a graph out.
You love my graphs.
Just so everyone can visualize this. Okay. So the change between everyone has to be equal. So let's start with, for the sake of this, we're just gonna put Shikamaru, Kiba, and Neji all at the same level, even though Neji's obviously stronger. But like, just keep this. The point. Okay, just have everyone else be one color. So the other members of the team, they'll be labeled team, can be green for team. Okay. And now, that's their growth. So just make a horizontal line somewhere in this graph for their prelim strength, and then put it somewhere else for Sasuke Retrieval Arc. I don't really care where you put it exactly. Just put it two different places. Okay, maybe a little bit lower for the one of them. Make the top one. Yeah, do that.
Prelims, Sasuke Retrieval.
Okay. So prelims, Sasuke Retrieval Arc. Okay. So that distance is how much they grew.
Okay.
So
here to here.
Yeah. Now, okay, so for the sake of this, we're just gonna combine QBI Naruto with his clones, with just base Naruto. Okay. So QBI Shadow Clone Naruto is below Lee, so it's below Sasuke Retrieval Arc Lee. Just anywhere in between prelims and Sasuke Retrieval Arc, you can put a line.
What?
No, ignore the just do the horizontal lines.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, that works. So, and put an N for Naruto.
Okay, you said QB form. I'll make it red.
Yeah.
So QB and Naruto.
Now, as we agreed earlier, Sasuke is generously equal to all of that. So Sasuke is also on that same line. Put a blue S next to him on that same line.
Okay, I'll just do S, so we'll just do the same line.
Okay. Now you see that 1-inch gap between SR and Pre?
Uh-huh.
Because Naruto's growth was either equal to or even more of a growth. That means this is the upper line. This blue-red line is the upper line. You need to make it equally as like 1 inch thick below, which is actually just going to be the very bottom blue line is where you're going to put another red and blue line. Just put like a red line at the bottom, basically. That's where tuning exams Naruto and Sasuke are. So Lee is at that black line. He's stronger.
Okay, and so then you're saying this here is Lee's line.
Well, yeah, that's Lee in the Sasuke Retrieval Arc. The other black line is Lee in the tuning exams.
This is Lee in the prelims? Tuning exams?
Just the tuning exams in general. I mean, for Lee, it is the prelims because he's not in the finals. But for Neji and everyone else, in this case, Shikamaru and Sasuke, well, not Sasuke in this case, but we're just combining. Really, we can just ignore Kiba. But so Lee is stronger.
I'm just such a stupid graph.
Okay, you should just send this to Jay. Like, we proven it.
Deal. I love how scrunched up it is.
Don't send it to him yet. When we get to the debate, we're just gonna pull this graph and say, as you can see here, please put in the lead topics. Quote, as you can see here, Lee is clearly stronger.
You like it better with an exclamation mark?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. I think it'd also be Stu just to send it to the group chat and say nothing. Just no context.
Yeah, but I don't want him to see the graph.
Yeah.
Just in case he studies it.
Again, I love how scrunched up it is instead of just like spacing it out slightly though. It's like everything.
It would be really funny to put at the top just Kimimaro, just way at the very top beyond the graph. Just no reason.
On the graph. Give me that. Alright. How long the game is.
It's perfect. It demonstrates how strong he is.
It just shows how far above he is.
Yeah. He's trying to reach down and he still can't reach them.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, the idea though is that realistically, anyone should say that, like, because the reason why you want to do that is because you can use the databook statement, oh, Lee's stronger now. That would get into the question of, okay, what if Lee, just being in the hospital, got more of an increase in strength than Naruto in the Chunin exams time skip training and the Gaara fight and the Search for Tsunade arc and everything? Like, what if Lee just got more of an increase? And obviously that's ridiculous, but you can argue that. But if he's already agreed that Naruto's growth is either equal to or greater, you can't say Lee grew more than Naruto anymore. So if he were to agree, yeah, Naruto and Sasuke in the rooftop are portrayed as about equal, or that QBI Naruto is either stronger to or at least equal to, then you get to Kimimaru's statement, okay, Lee's stronger. But then based off the growth argument he already agreed to, that means Lee was stronger back then too. That's the idea there. So then you can really solidify the Kimimaru argument without having to deal with, oh, well, what if Lee just got even more stronger? As ridiculous as that is.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the point. So that's why I wanted to do all the questions at the beginning, so that basically he can't argue out of something later.
And I'm sure you would agree that Kishimoto probably wasn't thinking about it like that. Realistically, it's the end of part 1.
He just wanted Lee to be relevant.
Yeah, I mean, ignoring Shippuden and power scaling there, this is essentially the end of his story up till this point. He's not worried about things like that. He's needing to do things from a narrative perspective. What he does with Lee is what he needs to do with Lee. That's the end of his character. Exactly. So that's the focus and the priority, even if it comes at the expense of everything.
The fact that it makes no sense.
Yeah, it's fine.
But to be fair, though, it doesn't have to explicitly make no sense if you just argue that Sasuke doesn't actually use Lee's speed ever again. Why? Takes up too much of his stamina. Now you could argue, oh, well, using Lee's speed would just help him instant GG win fights. But against the people he generally fights, it just isn't the case. Like, Naruto's not just going to get knocked down in one punch and be done. And Sasuke's going to tire himself out too much. Because Naruto is a tank. Let's be honest, he is. He's just going to keep getting back up. We've seen it. He got back up after 64 pumps when he should not have been able to do that. Okay, Naruto's a tank. So if Sasuke were to fight like that versus Naruto, he'd tire himself out and then just lose. So it's not necessarily...
exactly. That's exactly what I was getting at. Because Sasuke's normal fighting style isn't like that. Sasuke, if he's fighting Naruto, not how he would normally fight Naruto, but how he'd fight Tamari, let's just go back to that, he just would chop him in the back of the neck, and that works. It would work against Naruto. That's the thing. That's why Kishimoto would never write it, because it would work.
Yeah, but you could just say that about anyway. If Naruto just used all those clones and chopped Sasuke in the back of the neck.
Sure.
It's Ishiki throwing the rods in the eyes. Okay, they're not going to do that because they would just work too well.
The problem is not that Kishimoto would never write that, but that Naruto would never do that. That's not his fighting style. In the same way,
Yeah,
Naruto would never chop someone's head off with a sword.
Yeah. I do agree there for the Naruto points better. Ishiki, on the other hand, does do it to the Koji clone, so now you're like, well, you can't really excuse it anymore.
I mean, this sounds ridiculous. If Sasuke has, I'm sorry, because keep in mind when like Momoshiki transforms, at least in the anime, Sasuke does like the chop to Momoshiki's neck as he's transforming, doesn't work. I don't know if Naruto in that same position, Naruto's right next to Momoshiki. He has Sasuke. I don't know if Naruto would even think to do that, let alone consider the moral conundrum of whether it'd be right to do it. He might just wait until Momoshiki transforms, oblivious to the idea of even doing that in the first place. Like Momoshiki could be like, ah, you fool, you could have chopped my head. And Naruto would be like, oh, you're so right. Oh no, silly me. I could see that thing.
I could see that. Now, real quick, because obviously I wasn't going to do this to you, but to entertain the idea, I will now.
Oh god.
Tamari versus Sasuke is anime only. Sasuke never does the head chop at it ever in the manga, other than Sakura, but that's not even like a combat scenario.
Yeah.
And technically, we don't see where he hit her. We don't know if he chopped her in the head or somewhere else. He could have hit her in the toenail.
Oh come on! Come on! You could technically use that for the debate, but you know he did the neck chop. You know he did.
I mean, we don't know.
But you do.
For all we know, he did the same kick in the stomach or the back thing that he did versus Naruto's shadow clones.
Oh my god. Well, hey, if anything, that's just an upscale. He did that and it one-shot her. That's how strong Sasuke is.
Well, no, that's just a Sakura downscale because it didn't work on Naruto.
Oh god. That's great.
But anyway, well, we have a conundrum here. I gotta take my broccoli out of the oven, I guess. But
that is a conundrum.
Well, besides that conundrum, we haven't done either of our two topics.
Okay, you know what? Okay, you're not wrong. But if anything, considering this being the follow-up to the J stream, to where at the beginning of it we're recapping the J stream anyways, I'm totally down for this just to be a Naruto power scaling stream.
But Lee, with the fifth gate, likely at least, who would have beaten anyone in the exams. It's at least implied that the Hidden Lotus would have beat Neji. However, there's room to argue that Neji could have beaten Gaara's sand armor. And if that's the case, you just have this three-way deadlock, I guess.
I don't think Neji would have ever got to Gaara to take off a sand armor, but I think he could take off the sand armor if he did, but he couldn't. That's what I think.
Well, that one depends on... Depends on how fast you think Neji actually is.
I don't think
I don't know. It's kind of tricky, because I don't think it's shown, especially in the anime. Well, it's okay. They actually do show Neji being fast at different points, but the way they show it's different and it doesn't feel as fast. But they're trying to make him fast.
I feel like Neji's never presented speed on that caliber. I'm not saying he doesn't have it.
But blitzing Naruto, the difference is that they have Neji take like 400 steps really fast, and Naruto just stands still and does.
Yeah, exactly. That's another instance of the Shadow Clones doing nothing.
No, just even the regular Naruto. The difference is one makes Naruto just look stupidly slow, but I don't think that's what they were trying to do. That's just how it comes across versus the other way.
Maybe. But I don't know about that. I mean, it's not like anyone had trouble keeping up with Neji.
Say that again.
It's not like anyone else had trouble keeping up with Neji. You know, like Kakashi's not pulling out their Sharingan versus Neji like he was versus Lee.
Well, he only did that for Gates Lee.
I mean, you get the idea.
Well, no, I mean, but that also debunks your point.
Oh, but again, like no one else is having trouble keeping up with Neji.
I mean, versus Hinata, Neji wasn't.
Well, I mean, even in the
Naruto,
finals,
Neji
which is
wasn't trying to be that fast. He didn't need to be.
ignoring that, you mentioned the finals, which is what I was referring to.
He doesn't need to be fast versus Naruto. He's just kind of dicking on him.
Well, but that takes away your entire point to where it was just Naruto being stupid there and not as it's presented, rather than Neji being
just
fast.
means that Neji's being fast, but he just wasn't necessarily in that moment being as fast as Lee. But that doesn't mean he couldn't necessarily.
Well, but the idea was that Neji has the speed on par with that level.
Well, one, that's not what I said.
Well, you know what you
Start
said.
there.
So going with the idea that you said is what I'm referring to.
What I would argue for Neji would just be that it would be like similar to Sasuke's Sharingan situation with the QBI Naruto, to where like 2 Tomoe Sasuke's too slow, 3 Tomoe Sasuke's winning. What that tells us is that Sasuke's movement speed is too slow for Naruto, but with the Sharingan and the 3rd Tomoe at least, his reactions are good enough that he can now counter, strike, and win. Neji be similar to where he's physically slower, but ultimately he's able to just dodge and counter everything Lee does. So because of his Byakugan and literal skill as a fighter, his overall combat speed becomes greater. That's why he can land the hits.
So
because
to be clear,
his reactions is part of that.
So I started off saying in this clip video, whatever you would consider, that last time in the previous of the tertiary that you said I was the one trolling you. So I guess we're ending this video by me saying that now you're trolling me by saying what I said to you, like word for word, previously, that you vehemently disagreed with.
What are you talking about?
That the idea is that Neji doesn't have to be as fast as Lee. He can be slower than Lee, but he can still counter Lee and win every single time because of his genius Byakugan strategy, Taijutsu, all that stuff.
Well, adding in strategy is a little bit not what I said, but regardless,
I'm throwing words together. You gotta stop taking my
But
specifics.
he needs to be fast, close enough to do that, is my point with that.
Okay, well again, like word for word, what I've said previously that you disagreed with.
But you always make it seem like Neji's just like this slow poke. He's slower than Kiba in doing that. And no, he has to be
You are
close
so
enough.
hyperbolizing what I've said. Because
No,
again,
we've had that
you
discussion.
can't say,
You think
oh, I'm
Kiba's
saying what
faster.
I've said word
And I'll
for
say-
word what you've said. And you've disagreed
No.
with that.
I'll be the first to say I think Kiba's super underrated. He's actually really fast. But you said in the previous argument before that you think Neji's slower than Kiba. And I said I don't know about that. But
This was a different argument, first of all, but I'd have to go find which
okay, well that
video
means you don't
that was
genuinely
referencing
believe
you.
what you're saying because it's a different argument. And you're just saying it in the moment.
Different
But regardless
argument in terms of different conversation of Neji versus Kiba, as opposed to the Neji versus Lee conversation, which was a different conversation.
It doesn't matter. I'm just saying. But regardless, my point being, Neji has to be close enough to do all that, as we've just seen multiple times. Sasuke had the 2 Tomoe Sharingan versus weighted Lee. Too slow to keep up. He can't be that drastically different. He has to be close enough for this to work. Because again, it's not just like when Sasuke's like, oh, versus one-tailed Gar, he's barely dodging. If I didn't have the Sharingan, I'd be dead now. He's just using that to dodge. He's supposed to dodge and counter. That's like another level he needs. So he has to. And Neji also doesn't have precog, by the way. Like the Byakugan's definitely helping him with the 360 degree, but again, he doesn't have precog. He's just as.
Well, to be fair, the Byakugan is just inconsistent. Same with the Sharingan and like every other scene.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna give you that. But regardless, He has enhanced perception that helps him react better. But he still has to be close enough. So, again, does that mean Neji is fast enough to outspeed Gaara's Sand Shield? Not necessarily, no. We just don't know. What I can say, though, is that Kankuro, Gaara, and everyone seems to be very weary of Neji. And Neji doesn't again, I know Neji's not thinking about fighting Gaara in every panel here, but Neji never feels like he ever thinks he's too slow for Gaara's Sand Shield. And I understand, they don't talk about it, but it just doesn't feel like Neji thinks he isn't able to do it. And Gaara and Kankuro and them are worried about Neji. He's the other monster. He could give us trouble, blah, blah, blah. Which makes me think, well, it wouldn't be an issue unless they think, I don't know, Neji's Gentle Fist is just going to break right through the Sand Shield, and that's the issue. It's either that or he can't outspeed it, but otherwise it wouldn't be a concern.
So I posted this on purpose because I'm not the one saying this. I'm glad I'm not the one saying it. That's why I posted it, because someone else is the one saying it, just to prove my point. Look at this video. Neji versus Temari. The fact that someone who isn't me thinks this is a good matchup says all you need to know. Like I'm sure you would agree, Temari and Kankuro are presented as a level below Gaara, and then Sasuke is presented on around the same level as Gaara. Therefore, Sasuke is above the level of Temari and Kankuro.
Okay, but these people can just be wrong.
They can be, but the fact that they even said it at all, that tells you something.
I disagree with that at all.
Okay, people can be wrong. Nobody's saying Academy Naruto beats Shibai as even like a possibility that isn't a troll.
Okay, but you're saying that Kid Naruto beats Itachi, so
well, what did I say?
Second of all, I've heard people bring up Shino versus Gaara. You know who Shino's equal to? Kankuro.
Okay.
So I guess Gaara's only Shino level. Who's Kankuro
I'm just saying, if the series is presenting it on this level to where people can genuinely, but
they're not
on a level to where people can genuinely get that interpretation.
But they're not, though. It's making it very clear that Neji's on a higher level.
What I'm saying, because you're ignoring what I'm saying. Super Geek Verso. Do you think they're making this video in good faith? If you were to guess, because obviously neither of us have seen this video.
But again, how many ridiculous versus battles do you see people make in good faith? Plenty. This doesn't mean much.
I think it does. I think it does.
Okay, then. But what about my counterpoint of Shino versus Gaara?
I plead the fifth.
The fact that Kishimoto planned to have Shikamaru win the tuning exams. Shikamaru's on the other side of the bracket, by the way. So that means he's beating either Gaara, Sasuke who beat Gaara, or Naruto who beat Sasuke who beat Gaara. And Shikamaru's gonna win.
What does that even mean? Like when Kishimoto says that, did he write a version of the tuning exams where Konoha Crush doesn't exist?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's if Orochimaru wasn't created because of the editors, Shikamaru was gonna win the tuning exams.
But if the editors weren't there, then the tuning exams isn't the second arc. Like how far are we taking this? If the editors aren't there, Sasuke doesn't exist. If the editors aren't there, Gaara's name is something else. That's actually real, by the way.
I'm just saying, Kishimoto originally wrote it that Shikamaru wins.
Okay,
so,
but I don't think...
Because Kishimoto conceived it! Shikamaru is stronger than Gaara.
That's not what that means, because that's a hypothetical different alternate version of Naruto where we don't know what else has changed.
How do you know that this freaking other language guy isn't doing a what if? That doesn't exist.
We don't know because we haven't seen the video, but I'm just gonna assume he's not.
So you're making assumptions.
Yeah, but that's all I need.
All right, so because we made it this far, I want to do my Jigen topic. I'm putting my foot down.
Okay, fine. Then I'm gonna conclude on this current point. Then
I'm curious your thoughts on this one. So, assuming this is the case, Sasuke can do the lead speed, but he is not after the Gaara fight because in his mind, versus Gaara, lead speed was just specifically the best thing to do versus Gaara. versus most opponents. He is more effective. He's a greater shinobi in combat if he partitions his, stamina differently. Let's go with that for a moment. Assume that's what Sasuke's doing. So are you just blatantly putting Gaara fight Sasuke higher in the tier list because he's faster?
It depends if he's faster by using the
No, because he's going to run out of
speed.
stamina faster. That's the weakness to it. So are you going to put him higher in the tier list?
Well, is it speed
Despite
or
the fact that
movement?
Sasuke himself determined he is a greater threat level if he doesn't do that against anyone other than Gaara, because Gaara specifically, it's just better to do that. But for everyone else, he thinks I'm a stronger shinobi if I don't do this. But in your thought process, are you gonna put that in Sasuke's mind is weaker, but are you gonna say he was stronger when he does least speed, even though he'll run out faster?
But that's weird to determine on multiple. We just don't have enough information because I feel like the Yoroi fight is what that's like bouncing off of for context, to where it's like copying Lee's moves is what's doing it because it's such a strenuous move to do rather than the speed. I mean, the Chidori's, regardless if it's a speed amp or not, he's probably using the speed or moving at a faster speed, arguably, than earlier in the fight. It's not like that's really strenuous on him. It's really just like the lead movement itself. So I think it's just like the lead moves, which is what's really the strenuous aspect there, and he's using it to strip off the sand armor.
Yeah, two things. One, okay, he doesn't need to use a lead moves, he just needs to be lead speed. That'd be stupid Sasuke on that part. He's going IQ nerf. But two, Lee specifically says the Sasuke doesn't have the stamina to maintain that speed for long. Point. It's the speed that he's commenting on there, not that, okay, Sasuke can't do my moves for
that's
long.
not necessarily true, because again, if it's the moves, then it could just be the strenuous moves. It takes a lot of power to do the moves. Like for Lee, I don't think it's the speed of kicking someone up for the primary Lotus. It would be the strenuous.
Well, that's two different things. That's like the pain aspect. Lee's commenting on Sasuke's stamina to maintain the speed in general.
Well, but as an example, the Lion's Barrage, Sasuke copied the first half of that from Lee, and that does a lot of damage to Sasuke's body. And that's not because of the speed.
That's not what Lee's commenting on, though. Lee's commenting on a different thing.
But I disagree.
What
I think
Lee's
it's the same
saying
thing.
is that he can run a mile at, I don't know what numbers are going to line up, but it's fine. Lee can run a mile at 25 miles an hour. He's really fast. He's the fastest guy on the team. Sasuke's now trained his body to be able to do 25 miles an hour for 400 meters. He can match Lee's speed, but he can't go for that full mile. He can only do it for 400 meters. That's what Lee's saying, essentially.
It depends if it's speed or not that's doing it. It's weird.
It's what Lee says.
But we were just... you agreed with me earlier, like 30 minutes ago, that it's about the moves and not the speed.
No, I agree in the sense of everything making no sense, but...
Exactly! Okay, well then that applies here. It doesn't make sense.
So Sasuke says Lee's taijutsu, like the move of the dancing leaf shadow, hurts. It physically hurt him.
Yeah.
And then Kakashi says, in order to get to Lee's speed, Sasuke copied Lee's moves. Lee's saying Sasuke doesn't have the stamina, or he's saying, based on what he's observing from Sasuke, it does not seem that Sasuke has the stamina to maintain that speed for very long.
We're making this a sound
Those are just different things.
Because we're gonna the bottom of this whole with her. We are doing that at some point, next time she's on, or at some point eventually. That's so right.
You know what? We might as well get her to look at the Lee's average speed and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
See what she thinks there.
While we're at it, we should also get her to double check my Chidori speed amp thing. Not that I think it's wrong or anything, but just for like extra confirmation.
Yeah, the Minato statement thing.
Yeah. It would also just be...
I mean, frankly...
for the video.
I mean...
We need to make that video.
The Silence and Bolts translation says, oh my god, Kakashi, the speed amp from your Chidori's incredible. Okay, unless it says something weird like that, I really don't care what Minato says. people are just choosing to interpret it a one way intentionally to make it a speed app when it is just consistently is shown not to be one.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like, guys, Sasuke's faster than Naruto already. Then he does Chidori. If that's a speed amp, now he's got 2 layers over Naruto. Do you honestly believe Naruto just throwing himself with a shadow clone is giving him 2 speed amps to match Chidori? No.
I hated that from its
most.
conception. I don't think that made Naruto faster, by the way, Naruto throwing himself with the shadow clone. I don't know your interpretation of that, but I never got that interpretation.
He does it versus Pain when he can't
That's
break the 5 minute.
so different.
So
though.
I'm gonna assume it did, but 2 layers, I don't know, man. Like,
but also like but Kakashi's running alongside 6 gate Gi. So the Chidori is like a 6 gate amp now.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, no, it's not. When was it? It never was
So Naruto
before.
throwing himself with the shadow clone is a 6th gate amp.
Exactly. I think I wrote this somewhere, to be honest. Either that or I said it on stream before. I wrote this or we've had this conversation. It's like, no, that's just ridiculous. Naruto throwing himself is not a 6K amp in speed.
Let alone every other instance that Chidori is used, especially versus the Rasengan.
Hey, no, it's like, guys, it's never been. Yeah, so when base Naruto just runs at Chidori speed amp Sasuke, so Naruto in base just running in base. He didn't throw himself. He just got a 6K amp to match Sasuke there without any power up.
Like, come on.
It's like, it doesn't make sense, guys.
Exactly.
Clearly, Kakashi just is that fast, or a guy isn't running at max speed in that scene.
Well, I also think Kishimoto's just not thinking about it in that moment, regardless, because
He's not doing it in that. He's not doing that in that scene. Now, again, you have to take the series for what it is. If you want to point that out, that's fine. So, yeah, I mean,
that's actually one of the conversations I was trying to have last night with Jay. I mentioned it, but it was like a thing that we just brushed through in like 30 seconds of like, what do you consider for power scaling? Because this is a series written to be a fictional series by someone who's focusing on it as a story first, as an author writing the series. Do you focus on the in-universe perspective, or do you focus on how it's being written and factor in the inconsistencies of where the power scaling would be on how it's portrayed versus the author's intent?
Yeah, because that's the thing. Because I feel like, obviously, you're more than welcome to do we will do every variation because that's how we are.
Yeah.
If you're at a standstill because there's an inconsistency, for example, Kakashi and 6th Gate Guy there, as opposed to base Naruto's random 6th gate amp to match Sasuke's 6th gate amp. You ask, okay, what seems to be Kishimoto's intent in the different scenes? Is one meant to just be art, and then other scenes are meant to be, oh, no, this is the point they're doing, this character is faster than the other. For example, when GBI Naruto's hitting Sasuke, I think he's meant to be faster. That's why he needs an amp, a Sharingan amp to start to react and so on. He's meant to be faster. So, but if there's just some random panel of the two of them running side by side. Okay, for example, Noodles is god-awful. Kakazu is as fast as Itachi because they run through the trees together. Argument. It's like, well, no, that they're clearly... Well, first of all, there's many counters to that point, ignoring what I'm about to say. But running through the trees is never meant to be Kishimoto's depiction of how fast these characters are.
Because otherwise, upside down Naruto is Sanin level.
Yeah, like, it's never meant to be that. So, let's just not use that, because clearly not what you're supposed to take away from it.
Especially when it's one random panel or 5 seconds in the anime in the background glossed over for like 5 seconds in between two different story beats where they're not commenting on anything in regards to that. The thing before and after it is the important thing, not them running to the important thing to get to it.
And then there's also the fact of, let's get to Sixth Gate Guy and Kakashi there. Why is Kakashi not blatantly stronger than Guy then? Let's assume that speed is the case. Because, okay, so Guy's max speed here is just Kakashi speed. Okay, but Kakashi is a Sharingan, so he's just always going to win this fight then.
Yeah, so why is base Kakashi relative to base Guy, by the way?
Well, yeah, also that. Yeah, so I guess the Sixth Gate isn't much of a speed amp.
Exactly.
Okay, but then what about Lee? Okay, because Lee's just different. Lee has a speed up. So Guy in the Sixth Gate is the same speed as base Guy. Okay. So the Raikuri is not a speed amp. You know, honestly, you know what I think the best thing we can do is look for a scene in the war arc where Kakashi and Guy are moving at the same speed. Oh, no, they're just gonna say, oh, see, the Raikuri is the Sixth Gate amp. If there's ever like a Kakashi Raikuri next to base Guy, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
You just say, okay, so Sixth Gate isn't an amp in speed.
This is ridiculous. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and this is just not factoring. Literally, keep in mind, you can just have the Chidori in your hand without like running or anything. So whenever people are like just using taijutsu that like can do the Chidori, why don't they just activate the Chidori for like, you know, like a 6-gate amp when they're just
that's one of my big arguments is why does Sasuke have a lightning cloak that he uses versus like Momoshiki and Kinshiki? It's not the same as A's, but there's like a lightning thing he's doing.
Yeah. People
say, why is he doing that? Why is he just holding a Chidori in his hand to keep up with people?
He doesn't even need to use the Chidori. He can just like have Chidori just to like, you know, just dodge or just like block with his other hand.
Why does he just activate Chidori to dodge? Let's also not forget the fact that fundamentally it doesn't make sense for it to be a speed amp, because when you say, well, why would they do that? They have to concentrate chakra into their hand, diverting it away from them. Exactly. So why would taking chakra away from your legs and putting it in your hand make you faster?
Yeah, you know, when
we're technically giving you the benefit of the doubt to say it's the same speed when you really think about it.
You know, when Sasuke's trying to rush to a location, such as like rushing to a battlefield, why doesn't he just use Chidori to get there quicker?
Yeah. When Sasuke was trying to run away from Naruto in the Sasuke retrieval arc, why didn't he just like activate Chidori and sprint away? Also, I thought about this just now. So, as we see, hand-to-hand, movement-wise, like Obito and Kakashi are like the same speed. And then Kakashi uses Raikuri, and Obito uses a chakra rod, and they're the same speed. So are chakra rods a speed amp too? But that's actually just the thing I came up with as I was saying it. That's
write that in the power scaling abridged. That's actually perfect. Okay. We're going with the Chidori as a speed amp, and so we get to the chakra rods as speed amp too.
Okay.
That's so
okay. Good. I'm gonna write that down real quick and then get to my others. Okay, so I'll put in quotes. Chidori is a speed with the the letters.
There's so many different places where we can actually use that stupid argument too. The chakra rod is a speed amp. There's so many places we can use that, bro. I love that. Oh my god. Well, chat.
So what I was gonna get to it though is Obito and Raikuri Kakashi are at the same speed. So why isn't a White Mask Obito just speed blitzing base guy with the nunchucks? No problem.
Yeah.
Because well, remember, I mean, Raikuri Kakashi is relative to 6th Gate guy. Okay, so I guess base guy and 6th Gate guy are the same speed.
It's that easy.
And if they're the same speed, that means that Raikuri wasn't a speed app, because we know that base guy and Kakashi are the same speed.
Yeah. Like, I think, as stupid as it is, the best argument for the Chidori being a speed amp is it's being more, like, cutting, so it has, like, less, like, wind resistance, funny enough. Like, that's almost the way it's presented. Like, when it jabs forward, that's almost, like, the interpretation. Like, it's more narrow, in a way.
Now, of course, I do want to clarify for the people. You can't say people are being faster when they use Chidori a lot of the time. But that's not because Chidori's making them faster. That's just because they're doing the beeline attack thing that Killer Bee uses with the lariat that Sasuke dodges, and Lee says he would not normally do because it's easy to counter. And
Well,
he
but
doesn't have a
also,
Sharingan.
that's the strength of the technique. They're literally
Comes from doing that.
utilizing. Yeah, that's how it's meant to be used. It's a spear. The faster you go, the more it pierces.
It literally is in the description. Sasuke says it in Boruto too. Like, they say it every step of the way. The speed of the thrust is 50% of its power.
It's the intended
that's
use.
why they do that.
That's how you want to use it. That's its.
If Sasuke uses it in slow motion, he's making his jutsu weaker.
Exactly. Oh my God.
You ever wonder why sometimes it just stabs people and other times it's blowing up boulders and shit? It's because one time they're running, the other time they're not. But anyway.
On a similar note, but not really, going back to something you said like an hour ago at this point, I wanted to address at the time, but, you know, we can only say one word at a time. With Lee versus Neji, not Gar, but versus Neji. Again, this is a very quick thing. It wasn't really... But with the... I think one of the things with the Byakugan... And I'm glad you said the beeline thing, because this is really how I think it comes down to. The way that Lee tries to fight with his speed is by doing the run in a circle around you thing. We see that especially versus Gaara. To Neji, it's almost going to look like these are the 360 vision that makes that rendered useless entirely. It makes it completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's almost like Lee standing still. So Lee has to, and I think that's like almost the point. That's another reason that I would say Sasuke over Neji, because Sasuke can get around this. And in fact, that's probably why Lee's so frustrated by this, because Lee has to use a beeline maneuver against Neji. That's the only way to attack him with his Byakugan. So Lee's strength of not using a beeline maneuver is completely rendered null and void.
That's not really true. He can do a zigzag because Neji's Byakugan's not turning that into a beeline maneuver. I mean, you can say certain aspects. It's always a beeline for Neji. That just apply to everyone and everything.
I mean, I think in a way it is, because, like, to an extent, if you have 360
that's kind of a cool idea. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of dig the concept of that. Everything's a beeline maneuver versus Neji.
Well, that's the thing, because as you can imagine, like, Lee, when Lee does it against Gaara, Gaara's like looking left and right to try and see where Lee is at any given moment as he's circling around him, but he can't do that. And I understand, like, obviously, the 360-degree vision allows him to see fully rounded body, whereas Gar, he doesn't have that. He's like, I don't know, let's just say perfect vision. He has 20/20 vision. But, like, he can only see in the conal radius in front of us. But, like, I think the difference is, and this is going to be weird, you might disagree with this. In fact, there might be evidence against what I'm saying. It's definitely not, like, very strong. There'd be some random anime scene of them, like, glancing, darting left and right. But I think the Byakugan, the way it works, the way normal vision works, yes, you can see the conal vision in front of us, but really you're like looking laser eye dart focused at like a single point. And that's where like the zigzag maneuver would work. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But the zigzag maneuver would work against a normal opponent because they'd have to track you with their laser focus. They're not just going to like look straight and like through their peripheral of their conal vision track you of the zigzag. No, they're going to be like looking left and right, and that's going to throw them off. I don't think Neji has to do that with this Byakugan activated. I think he can look straight ahead and like his laser pointed vision.
Yeah, his everywhere vision's just like that.
Is the 360-degree vision, exactly. So he can just track you no matter where.
With his share vision.
Yeah, so I don't think the zigzag matters in that regard, but I could be wrong.
I mean, that's cool. But to be fair, let's just say everything is a beeline maneuver for Neji. In the case of their fight, Lee just isn't able to beeline fast enough for Neji to stop him.
Sure, but that could come down to weird Byakugan shenanigans anyways.
But regardless, yeah. I wrote in the bridge the base guy relative to 6th guy, Gates guy point with the
chakra
Obito
rods, yeah.
thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That one thing I'll give you, but I'm gonna immediately debunk it in 2 different ways. One thing I'll give you is that regardless of the 360-degree vision, if Lee just is fast enough to just go behind Neji, he could just attack at Neji's back. Even if Neji sees it, he has to like turn around to counter it.
Yeah.
The debunk to that is, first of all, Neji through like his Rinnegan, his Byakugan, is basically the same as what Pain does with the Rinnegan linked vision, to where they can just counter attacks behind them in the same effortless way. The second thing to there is that Neji's also a genius, so even regardless of the 360-degree vision Byakugan, he'll just like randomly like throw his foot up in the exact position he needs to be to like. I think he's pretty much as effective fighting behind him as he is in front of him.
I mean, low key, yeah, kind of, but that's just a Neji skill thing, though, that he can just use against anyone.
Well, that's the 2 different arguments, the 2 different debunks, is that the 360-degree vision and the Neji skill point, who are fighting behind him, is equivalently the same as fighting it as in front of him.
Well, nobody's telling Lee to go behind him.
Yeah.
He might as well do the beeline against Neji.
Exactly.
But anyway.
At that point, he's just getting countered.
I should go grab some more things, but are we finally ready to do the Jigen topic?
Oh my god, are we still doing that, Kamui? I mean, we can.
At this point, we are.
Listen.
I wanted to do this for so long.
If we do it, you're gonna regret it tomorrow. And the plan was to do it on the stream where I do my Daemon topic, which I'm definitely not doing, regardless if you do your Jigen. I'm not doing that topic tonight. And the plan was to just have that be one long stream, since it's going to be long regardless. That was the original plan. If you want to change your plan and regret it tomorrow, I'm not going to stop you. I'm just going to, right now and never again, encourage you against it. But if you want to do it, I'll support you and do it.
There's no guarantee I'll regret it tomorrow. It does partially depend on whether we stream tomorrow.
So, keep in mind it's 3:30 a.m. Keep in mind how long the topic is on its own, and then factor in the multiplicative effect we will have on that length. Just wanted you to factor that in really quick. Just making you fully aware of the scenario here. Just so you can be informed when you ultimately make your decision.
Okay, can we at least go count how many messages it is?
I will do that.
Okay.
I'm not trying to make your mind for you. I want you to be the decision. I'm not necessarily discouraging you to say you shouldn't do it.
Search Jigen.
Okay.
And I think more stronger than Jigen points is the first one.
Point 11. Well, I mean, that right there, that should probably tell you there's at least 11 points, so probably like 11.
Yeah, but how many messages? And okay, obviously not all of these are full lengths.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Most of these are full messages.
Yes, 8.
Well,
but one of them's short, so we'll say 7.
Well, this is more, so there's more than 8.
Yeah, this is me continuing from like our, 6 months ago.
Okay, so this is the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we can just do 5 minutes max per message, that means 40 minutes tops.
Kamui, you think we can? This would take 5 minutes to say alone.
No.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Okay, let's put a timer on. Okay, we'll do a genuine read and just see how long the first one does, and then go from there.
Okay, then I will let you read the full thing without interrupting you, and I will save all my
Well,
thoughts.
no,
until
hold on,
after.
hold on. We'll
Just let you
alternate.
read it.
We'll alternate paragraphs like we
Okay,
do.
fine. We'll alternate paragraphs, and we'll say no other things in between. We'll just read it and save all of our thoughts until afterwards. For this first message, we'll see how long it takes.
Okay. So we're gonna start in 5 seconds at exactly 3:37. More stronger than Jigen points. 1. Kawaki using the horn is compared to Ishiki, not Jigen. For example, is Amado trying to make Kawaki into a second Ishiki? This is quoted by Code. When he's like using, the horn.
Yeah.
Your turn.
While it's true that Kawaki is using the cubes like Ishiki, unlike Jigen, the fact that Kawaki using objectively less karma than Jigen is comparable to Ishiki does suggest that Jigen in that state would also be compared to Ishiki. Frankly, he was. Sasuke points out that Jigen looks like the unknown Otsutsuki, Ishiki, in that dimension.
Of course, it did the Jonathan Oliver typo.
Yeah, when he sees Jigen's horn. So that is a consistent comparison to Ishiki when using the horn state. 2. Yeah.
While it's only Shikamaru's conjecture, Ikimoto is likely using Shikamaru as a means of conveying this information to the audience when he has Shikamaru say, Code is stronger than Jigen, but he should still be weaker than Ishiki. Code seems to believe that he can defeat, or at least evenly match Kawaki once his limiters come off, which makes him stronger than Jigen. But this suggests that Kawaki isn't actually Ishiki level yet, despite the previous comparison. However, since Kawaki only had 80% extracted and a literally incomplete horn compared to Ishiki and Jigen, it would make sense that Kawaki wasn't as strong as Ishiki yet. Code also asked if Amado was trying to turn Kawaki into a second Ishiki, not that he already successfully did turn him into a second Ishiki, suggesting similarity and a path moving forward, but not equality.
This simply means Ishiki over Code over Kawaki, with the reasoning being that Kawaki doesn't have 100% of Ishiki's power, at least at the time. Jigen, however, did have 100% of Ishiki's karma and could use it all based on the horn, even if it hurt him in the process and he couldn't use it for long. Which you could infer to mean full karma Jigen is about Ishiki level, power-wise, while he's actively in that state, but can't last as long as the real Ishiki or use the cube seemingly. Time.
3:39.
Okay, so less than 5 minutes. I'll give you that.
2.5 minutes. So we've got this in a bag. Okay, break it down. Let's see how long it takes after we break this part down. The first message. Do you agree so far? Disagree with anything?
So I'll be honest, that was hard to focus on of coming up with thoughts because I was so focused on reading.
I know you're just focused on reading it.
It's like I didn't even comprehend anything. We're gonna have to go back through it.
So okay, I'll paraphrase.
Yeah.
So point 1 is saying Kawaki in the horn state is being compared to Ishiki, not Jigen. Sasuke, when Jigen uses the horn state, makes the comparison to Ishiki as well. It's somewhat consistent that when the horn comes out, they compare him to Ishiki, rather than saying, oh, it's like Jigen.
I agree, yeah.
That's point 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Point 2 is saying...
okay, first of all, I hate this, and I hate this, because we both know it's true. That's the problem. But we're working in reverse. We know it's Ikimoto telling us as the audience, but the excuse is that it's Shikamaru's conjecture, and that's our way around it and out of it and to get away from it. The problem is, this is Ikimoto we're talking about here, and you already know it. So yeah, he should be doing that, but he's not doing that, which is why the Shikamaru conjecture point, unironically, is strong.
Yeah, so until the series says it gives us any indication that Shikamaru is just wrong, we're just gonna have to assume Ikimoto's telling us that Code is probably weaker than Ishiki, but he's stronger than Jigen.
But also, at the same time, the second, or the other half of that is that it becomes irrelevant in Two Blue Vortex and the end of part 1 anyway, so it doesn't actually matter, first of all. Second of all, even if it's true, the series is broken with its power scaling anyways, to where Ikimoto's intent isn't consistent regardless if it's true or not, so it doesn't matter.
That is fair. And if you want to just disregard this point entirely based on that, that's fine. And we have 10 others.
Yeah, well, it was just like the first half of this. What's the second half of this say, or is it just backing up the first half of this?
That's basically addressing a counterpoint, which is that, well, Ko thinks he can beat Kawaki, who was compared to Ishiki. But that doesn't make sense then. But the argument being that, okay, Kawaki only has 80%. Ko's saying, oh, I'm going to try to turn Kawaki into second Ishiki. Which is to say, Kawaki's on that path there, but he's not actually there yet.
Well,
So
I
if
think
Ko's
it's
just like
also-
slightly weaker than Ishiki,
I mean,
then Kawaki's weaker than that for now until he's eventually fully Ishiki level.
I think we have
slightly
I think we have the general interpretation that I don't think that Kawaki was Ishiki level in the code arc, but I do think that is the point where we can confidently say Borushiki and Kawashiki have surpassed Naruto and Sasuke.
You think they're like when they had the 6-path stuff? Or just like the stage mode Naruto?
See, it's, you know, when you specify, that makes it a lot more muddy. It's just a lot more beautiful when you say it the way I said it.
I agree, because that's narratively what's happening. But I am going to specify for the sake of this question.
Well, that's where it gets harder, because that's where you have to actually like think about it.
I do think Ikimoto wanted that to be the case, that they just surpassed the period, not counting Baryon mode, but
yeah, probably.
It's tough to say for certain.
At the very least, I feel like they might be more dangerous regardless of their power, or it might be the other way around, technically, considering skill.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky there, I'll say.
Yeah. It's probably pretty close.
It also partially depends on how much stronger Jigen actually was than Naruto and Sasuke, and how close Kawaki actually is compared to Ishiki's on. So there's a lot of factors, but
yeah. But anyways, we already said. I'm just highlighting this as if to read it again. Okay.
Yeah, we already said this. So this is just basically saying Jigen did have 100% Ishiki's karma, and he's Ishiki level, but you just can't use it for as long. And seemingly can't use the cubes, which is the hacks that he's losing. But as far as his speed and strength goes, it would be the same.
Yeah, this is not much, but it's like fine, I guess.
Yeah. That's not really... I feel like the some of the points later on, I think I liked more. But,
yeah, this isn't really like anything new. It's more like a substantiation in a way.
So number 3. Koji, the literal spy, trying to learn all about Jigen so he can kill Jigen, didn't know what Jigen could or couldn't do with karma. He's literally observing Boruto and Kawaki using karma to learn more about karma to fight Jigen. That doesn't sound like someone who's seen Jigen showing off his karma power in front of everyone. That sounds like someone who's never seen Jigen actually use his karma, likely because Jigen wants to keep his power mostly a secret in case of a betrayal which he literally thinks is coming at some point and is preparing for. Now, I will add a caveat, there's possibly a retcon to this, I'll admit, because Koji and Abado seem to know exactly what they're going to do in this Jigen fight later on, and they did not learn any of that weakness from the Boruto scenario and Kawaki sparring scenario, so you could say they kind of retcon that slightly, I'll give you that. But technically, in series, this is the case.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of Koji's power, he was literally created to kill Jigen. So that right there, like, that's like his life's purpose, his dream, his ambition, every Naruto thematic word you can think of. So that definitely plays a factor in. The weird thing is where Koji scales into Blue Vortex. To be fair, he was injured in part 1, so he could possibly be weaker. It doesn't feel like it is. If anything, he awakened a Shinjutsu. That might just come with a stat
he
amp
also
as
doesn't
well.
seem injured at all. He's walking around, his arm is fully
That
fine. I don't think
well.
he's injured.
Plus, he has like all his like toad still. Maybe you could argue because he didn't go to Koji for maintenance. Okay, so maybe he's like needs like overtuned or auto-tuned or overclocked or whatever the word. I don't know, something.
Yeah, but we don't even know that he needed maintenance in the first place. So.
Yeah, it is true as well. I mean, if anything, I feel like Amino would have made that.
He's
like,
also like
contingency,
by
but we
far
don't
the
really know
least
much about
robotic.
Amino.
I don't know what you would do maintenance on with him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird regardless, but yeah. But at the same time, we don't know what Ikimoto wants to do with Koji and Two Blue Vortex. Like, I'm not gonna say it's ridiculous necessarily that Koji hasn't fought in Two Blue Vortex, because if his whole thing is to stay hidden, it makes sense why he's not going out to fight Code and Konoha or go face the Shinju so Jura can come kill him or something stupid like that. So it would make sense why he would want to stay hidden, and not just like hidden in terms of his location, but hidden in terms of his identity away from everyone else. Hey, more identity themes, by the way. But
Yeah, the identity one's a big one. He's trying to keep that a secret. And even to this day, only a small handful of people do know. I mean, technically, it's grown more and more because you have Boruto, Shikamaru, Inojin, Kawaki, Amino, Ada, and Damon. Of course, Kawaki and Amino don't. No, but they know.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. Amino doesn't know, but he knows. It's same Kawaki, yeah. Nobody told them, but they know.
Yeah.
That's like, what, 6 characters or something you know?
But also, I mean, I don't want to just like jump the gun on that. It's totally possible that Koji is going to have an actual fight later on in series, like against Code. So there's also that.
I hope so. That's the fight I want for
Hey,
Code
I
and
know,
Koji.
eh?
I can't wait for Yukimoto to ruin that for me.
Yeah. Oh, also, Jigen wanted to keep his power a secret. Well, I think it's more than just a secret. I think, in general, Jigen doesn't want to use his power because his body is already naturally breaking down on its own. The more power he uses, the faster it'll break down.
Like, he's not showing this off.
Yeah. Like I do think that Amado can like heal him back up to 100% or whatever that Amado was doing after the Naruto and Sasuke fight. But like his new 100% might actually just be like 90% of what it was before. But like the fact that he's on maintenance before the fight, so he's needing to sustain. I think it's kind of like Orochimaru on his deathbed trying to like last out before the body transfer jutsu. In a way, would be like the equivalent there. So like he probably shouldn't. And in that case, like if Orochimaru's fighting to the point that his body's rejecting him, like in the Four-Tails fight, that might just be speeding up like his rejecting body speed or whatever, to where he's gonna need a new body quicker or whatever. Like his body's gonna fail faster, or it's gonna, if not faster in terms of the rate of change, it's gonna fail sooner. So I guess the equivalent, if we go back to graphs here, would be, if I make a graph really quick. So if this is just like change over time, and this goes up to like from 0% to like 100%, to where 0% is fresh body, he just did the body transfer jutsu. 100%, he needs a new body now. His current body is completely devastated. It's thrashed. He needs a new body. If this is like the normal linear rate over time, like 3 years or whatever for like the time, then I think if he fights, it's essentially the equivalent of, I guess let me just erase this line. If he fights, it's the equivalent of it just like jumping up and then continuing on the same linear path as what it was before.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, and I think for Jigen, it's probably like the same. I almost want to use like a different way to do this, to where instead of change, I guess this would be 100%, and then this would be time, to where Jigen started at, I guess, technically 100%, and it's like decreasing over time, but yeah, I guess it's like decreasing over time, maybe even like exponentially normally, but because of Amado, it's like decreasing over time, but like parabolically, almost like this. But if he like fights Naruto and Sasuke, then it's gonna like dip down, obviously. But like, I guess like the normal rate, if it's like parabolic, is gonna be like that. So then, I guess because the Naruto and Sasuke fight, it's gonna go back up. But like, if he can only go up to like 50% of what he originally was, which is this new 100%, then it's going to be like he can only go back up to like whatever here. So it's going to be like below this line no matter what. It's a weird way to see it, but it's a possibility. Anyways, coinciding with this, if Koji and likely most other Kara members have never seen Jigen use Karma, or at least never seen him use it enough and pushed hard enough to where they can actually deduce his abilities with it, and his full power, that's such a long sentence, then nobody would understand what stronger than Jigen even means. They don't know how strong he is. They just know how strong they just know he is strong in that case. They would think, well, I'm stronger than base Jigen, but allegedly he's stronger than me when using his Karma. Yes, they can comprehend that code being stronger than that makes him strong and all, but they wouldn't truly understand the extent of that strength and would truly fear it in that case. However, if stronger than Jigen refers to base Jigen, now they know, okay, Jigen is stronger than me, and they know by how much, and code is stronger than that. Karma Jigen is just a mystery to them, and it's not anything they're overly considering, aside from Koji who plans to kill him.
Koji saying, quote unquote, Ishiki is stronger than he was inside Jigen doesn't mean anything when Koji hasn't seen full-powered Karma Jigen. He's only seen base Jigen and less than 10% Karma Jigen. So yeah, obviously Ishiki is stronger, though you can argue writing-wise this was meant to convey to the reader something Koji wouldn't actually know in universe. Kind of like the Shikamaru point. It's like, why would he know that?
I think that's just that. I think that's something the audience can easily excuse, to where I'm going to consider it technically a problematic flaw, but it's not problematic, it's just a flaw, but it's like a flaw in a technicality to where it doesn't actually matter, to where not only can we excuse it, but it's effectively not a problem. For like the story. It's only like on a technical level.
Okay, I'll say this next one. This is one of my favorite ones. In the anime, base Jigen is just blatantly depicted as stronger than limited code. Yeah. Like, you know that scene when Code tries to sneak up on him and Jigen just flips him over the table?
Yeah, is he just like almost
they're not making limited code look strong. Jigen there.
Exactly.
And limited code in the anime is depicted as stronger than Boro. He literally threatens to kill him and Boro backs down. Both of them are depicted as stronger than Delta. Again, all of this suggesting that Beast Jigen is stronger than the rest of Gaara.
Yeah. Now, is it possible that Boro backed down because he knows that Code has the the Karma seal? Maybe, but it's not what's said at the very least.
Then it kind of just means, okay, then our base limited code and base and Boro like the same strength, but Karma limited code stronger.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, that implies that Boro doesn't think he can take Code down before he activates the Karma.
True. You can just flip him over the table.
I love that scene, by the way. It's so
I know.
It's so unnecessarily memorable.
It's so randomly goofy.
There's no reason we should remember it, but it sticks out in our mind.
I love it.
Yes. Kawaki seemed to think he could defeat No Limiter's Code, at least at some point, without begging Amado for enhancements, which could suggest a full power 100% Karma Kawaki would be stronger than Code, like Ishiki, and likely Jigen.
6. Kawaki thought Naruto might be stronger than Jigen when Naruto flexed his full power, and had seemingly only ever seen base Jigen's power up to that point, meaning he would be comparing Naruto to base Jigen just like everyone else.
That's interesting.
That seems manga only, but...
Yeah. You could argue...
Then the moment he sees Jigen using Karma, he's like freaking out. No, Naruto, don't fight him!
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, I think that's another moment that's meant for the audience, rather than something that should be taken literally in character and universe. You could argue against that, because that one I could see going either way. But it feels like it's meant to be asking the audience, or like setting the audience up for Jigen is a Naruto level combatant or stronger. But either way, I really love that scene, by the way.
I know.
But number 7, KCM Cloak Naruto is blatantly weaker than Karma 1 Jigen, despite being in a less suppressed state than versus Delta. He blatantly isn't suppressed versus Jigen and points this out, who he beat, and he's nigh
He beat
even.
Delta. That's because of the parentheses.
Okay, yeah.
He beat Delta.
Yeah, beat Delta, who he beat, and he's, I'm not gonna lie, I do the same exact thing with my parentheses in a lot of my points. So I'll just say that without the parentheses. Beating Karma 1, despite being in a less suppressed state than versus Delta, who he beat, as he's nigh even to Karma 1 Jigen when fighting as a team with Sasuke, which put him on a whole tier higher than being alone based on statements and feats. KCM Naruto is actually hit way more times by Karma Jigen while fighting alongside Sasuke and being a higher tier as a result than he was ever hit versus Delta, leaving realistic room for base Jigen over Delta.
That's not anything specific. It's just to say that, like, Naruto and Sasuke's a team's a whole higher tier than Naruto. Naruto is stronger than Delta. Okay? They say it, they show it. Even if she puts up a good fight. So, you pull out your graph, just so we can draw tiers, I guess. Just draw, like, a couple small straight lines, you know? You've got... yeah, so you have Naruto. Pick it up. Okay, so Naruto over Delta.
Naruto, Delta, go. Yeah.
All right, just to remove. Okay, let's just start the weakest all the way to the left here, so that we can have more room. So just restart.
Okay, so Delta.
Okay, so Delta and then Naruto. Now you have slightly above that another Naruto to say not suppress Naruto.
Yeah.
Just slightly in front of it. Doesn't have to be way above it. He's just not suppressed now.
We'll just do bigger Naruto.
And then
bigger.
Yeah, okay. And then you have Naruto plus Sasuke.
Okay. Naruto, Sasuke.
And then you have Karma 1 Jigen equal to that.
Karma 1 Jigen.
And just put an equal sign next in between those two lines.
I'll do it here. I think
or just put Jigen over it. Yeah, okay. So, like, if Karma 1 Jigen's there, Delta's back there, it's just understandable. It's like, this isn't at a specific point. It's just to say, it's understandable that base Jigen could be, you know, in this range somewhere above Delta.
This is also being incredibly generous, having Karma 1 Jigen equal to Naruto and Sasuke instead of massively holding back to be equal. As if to say Karma 1 Jigen at full power wouldn't be way above them.
I mean, to be fair,
like way over here.
Naruto and Sasuke's big little strategy there, Jigen did counter. He just chose to enter Karma 2 and beat them up after that. But technically speaking, he could have kept going. Like,
yeah.
Because they never hit him a single time. Whereas he's been, like, throwing rods at them all over the place.
But what this does say is that if Karma 1 Jigen here, oh, we don't know where Jigen is. It's ambiguous. But, like, realistically, it's Karma 1. Are we going to say it is a 1, 2, 3 tiers? Being generous, it's going to realistically be more. 3 tiers of power gap? Like, I don't know. It's a little crazy.
Yeah, let's just let's just ignore suppressed versus unsuppressed Naruto. Are we going to say it's 2 tiers? Probably not. It's probably like 1. Where does that get you? It gets base Jigen and Naruto relative to one another. Oh, right, the thing Kawaki questioned.
Yeah. So there you go. No, but realistically, I think it's more because I think Jigen Karma 1's gonna be like over here. And I think it should just be like 1 tier of power. Like, honestly, sounds ridiculous. Base Jigen, if he's actually trying, he just probably beats Naruto and Sasuke, maybe. Like, we don't know, but maybe.
We don't know, but it's possible.
Yeah. Well, hey, this is also another instance to where I'm sure we would agree. Jigen is like stronger and faster than Naruto and Sasuke, but it's his body failing that's really the problem here. So it's gonna be like another like Lee versus Gaara scenario in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if I wrote this specifically in here, but we're gonna get to some Koji fight stuff, I think, at some point. But just in case I didn't say this, I will also add, because I reread the Koji versus Jigen fight. In case I don't say something very similar to this. So like base Jigen's landing hits on Koji, then he activates Karma, immediately kicks Koji, and then Jigen's just in the trap. Like Koji didn't do anything other than like lay the trap. At all points of the fight, Jigen, base in Karma, is just physically stronger than Koji. And this is less than 10% Jigen.
Yeah. Which is pretty crazy.
So that is kind of just presenting even base Jigen as stronger than Koji.
Yeah. By the way, I did want to
just
just
a trap.
really quickly point. It's hilarious how we have had literally opposite sides of the debate of which side we've taken between the Lee versus Gaara now and the Jigen versus Naruto and Sasuke. Literally exact opposite stances, considering like the idea there.
Well, to be fair, Jigen won before he quit. That's the difference. Lee quit before he won.
Well, number 8, unless you had more to say.
Okay, this is funny. Number 8 is what I just said. Less than 10% base Jigen is literally throwing hands with Koji and the only one landing hits, albeit on clones. I think he might kick the real Koji like once, but the moment Jigen uses Karma, where I wrote that weird. The moment Jigen uses Karma, oh my god, read what I wrote. So the moment Jigen uses Karma, he kicks Jigen. Okay, so the moment Jigen uses Karma, he kicks Koji and Koji starts the trap. He never stood a chance physically.
Yeah. And I haven't like gone back to reread the fight, but I'll be there in a couple hundred episodes of Naruto. By the way,
changes much of anything there, so should be the same.
Yeah, in case you like weren't like keeping up with chat today, I'm at like episode like 52 of Boruto, and
I saw that.
In case you don't know the numbers,
birthday episode.
Boruto birthday, the White Zetsu fight. So starting the Momoshiki arc in the anime. There you go. So skipping over all of this, chicken stuff continued. Did you want to do this one? You want me to do it?
Your turn. I'm chewing anyway.
When referring to the power held within their respective karma seals, they consistently refer to it as Momoshiki's power for Boruto and Ishiki's power for Kawaki. Boruto quite literally had to make a deal with Momoshiki to access Momoshiki's power, karma, for himself without Momoshiki coming out. Kawaki can just do it because Ishiki isn't there to make it bad. Even Code's defective white karma is described as Ishiki's power and a lump of Ishiki's essence. It's consistent that the power within karma is attributed to that of the Otsutsuki who bestowed it. Why would it be any different for Jigen? This means karma Jigen would be attributed to Ishiki, while Jigen refers to base Jigen.
Conversely, that particular human's powers that aren't a result of karma are considered that original person's powers. For example, Kawaki's accelerated healing from Amado Ninja Tech Science BS is considered Kawaki's powers, not Ishiki's. Uzuhiko and Knockoff Flying Raijin are considered Boruto's powers, and not Momoshiki's. How does Jigen fit into this? Simple. Ishiki is inside Jigen's brain, remember? What Jigen can do in base, because of Tiny Brain Ishiki, is just considered Jigen's power. Well, Karma is considered Ishiki's power, as mentioned above. Now, I will say real quick, I know, it's technically all Ishiki then in that case, and that's what's different about Jigen versus everyone else. But there's still, like, the distinction. Like, Jigen is just referring to Tiny Ishiki. Karma's referring... Ishiki is referring to Karma. You know, you get the point there. And frankly, We don't even know if people like Delta, Boro, and Code even know that Tiny Ishiki lives inside Jigen. Like, it might just be Koji and Amado, which could further corroborate this idea in universe. That if they just don't know that, we don't know if they do.
Sure. So really quick, remind me. Obviously, for Kawaki in the Code arc, when his karma is restored, what Amado did to him. Obviously, he's not like in the first place. Ishiki's soul, his consciousness wasn't in the karma, unlike Boruto. That's not a property of karma. That's just Momoshiki doing something weird. So that wasn't a thing in the first place. But at the same time, it's also like it's not like doing the go into 100% to extract thing. So there's not that going on with the karma seal.
Oh, we don't know. They never say.
Well, assuming Amado is, like taking him at face value, seemingly the doors shut, blah blah blah, that analogy and all that stuff. Assuming he's being honest there, so he did put Akabe's data onto that karma, but like, would you count that? And I'm asking because like your interpretation, and if they just say something I'm forgetting, would you consider that Ishiki's karma that's on Kawaki in the Code arc and onwards?
It's kind of weird, but the way Amado makes it seem is that it's Ishiki's karma, and Amado just like added Akabe's data into there.
Yeah,
it's weird.
I agree, because it feels like I'm pretty sure he uses the word restore. He's restoring the karma, as if to like put what was already on.
Or he's just reconstruct and restore different times, but he's rebuilding what was already there.
Even then, I feel like it's not that he's reconstructing what a karma is. He's reconstructing Ishiki's karma.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay. So it might not be that
he's saying he couldn't do it unless it already had existed before.
That's true,
like that one was already once on Kawaki. That's like what he's saying at least.
Exactly. And to an extent, I think this is kind of funny. I wonder if he was able to reconstruct it. I understand what he said, but what he means might be different. I wonder if it's not because Kawaki had Ishiki's karma, but instead because that karma had extracted and overlaid its data, blah blah blah, to where he's using Kawaki's Ishiki DNA to reconstruct the karma, because the karma is the Otsutsuki's DNA, which is kind of a funny way to think about it.
That's possible, although in that case, that would suggest that Amado can just make a karma, and that he's lying when he says he can't do that.
Well, I wouldn't put it past Amado to lie.
Yeah. I mean, for now, I made a video about this. If I'm just going to take everything at face value, nobody's lying, per se, then I'm saying Amado compressed the data. And because Kawaki's an Otsutsuki and can use those Otsutsuki abilities, they never paid off that, what if you put a karma seal on someone line? So my theory for now is just going to be they did pay it off. Kawaki put it on himself, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
When he had to wish for it, that was just making Kawaki do the karma seal jutsu, basically.
So let's just say that the Kawaki's karma seal was 80% extracted when Amado, or I guess when it was like taken off, and then later on when Amado put it back on. Do you think the 80%? Assuming that Amado is using the 80% extracted data from the Ishiki's previous karma cell on Kawaki to restore it, or like the genetic data in Kawaki that has like been overlaid onto Kawaki, how do you think that 80% spreads across the body? Is it that every cell in Kawaki's body is 80% Ishiki, or is it that like 80% of Kawaki cells are 100% Ishiki? If that makes sense. Not literally, but like the
problem
idea.
with that,
like, does it spread?
Is taking into account what Momoshiki says to Boruto when he heals them, because like he needed Boruto's parts, like Boruto's DNA to heal Boruto's parts. Which makes it seem like, just conveniently, what was damaged, which just happened to be Boruto's. It's like the only things that weren't Momoshiki-fied, and that he had to replace it with Boruto data because otherwise it would have failed. The alternative, I guess you could maybe say, is that all of him's like 82% Momoshiki. Um, and that he had to match that percentage to heal Boruto's wounds, or else it wouldn't have healed into properly or something. You could argue that too.
So obviously the extraction takes place all at once. It's not like they gradually look or become the Otsutsuki over time. So I think the way it works is that because all of the data is hyper compressed or whatever into the karma seal, I think it's the data. I think the data starts at 100%. You know, the karma seal itself, the diamond on their not forehead. What is it? The palms of their hands. What is the word for that? Four palms.
Yes.
It's a palm of their hand. I'll just say palm. Yeah, I think the diamond is at 100% Otsutsuki. That is Momoshiki. I don't think it's like it starts at like 0%. AKA, it's like Boruto's hand. Like I don't think it's starting. Like I think the diamond is 100% Otsutsuki. I think I think it's spreading the information to the cells. It's telling the cells in Boruto's body, this is what Ishiki's data is, but it's not changing the cells into that information until it's spread all the way or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the problem is it's inconsistent. It doesn't make
I
sense.
know.
Because again, they are Otsutsuki. That's why eating them, feeding them to the Tentails works, and that's why Kawaki can do the Otsutsuki's powers, because he is Otsutsuki. He's already been changed, despite looking exactly identical. You can say my best argument there, which is going to be gene translation versus transcription, to say, oh, the genes have been all transcribed so that they're Otsutsuki, but they haven't been translated, so that's why none of the proteins have been built so that they look different.
Sure.
And that gets you around the Tentails point, I'd say, enough. I don't think it really gets you around the Otsutsuki's abilities point, but it's like, all right, they got half the equation, I guess. But it's just weird. I
Yeah.
think they should have just written it. I mean, screw the. Well, okay. Yeah, we can just get around the stupid Tentails point easily, but I think it should have just been written like Karama Seal, bro. Just say that like the karma extracts, so more of it can spread around your body. So it just starts up, it only spreads around your hand, then it's around your arm, then it's your shoulder, then it gets up to your face, then it gets to the other side, and so on. It just spreads more and more. When it's all fully extracted, it can spread over your body entirely, and that's when it overwrites you.
Exactly.
And okay, well, the karma's either on your hand or spread around you, doesn't matter. The chakra's in your body, whether it's sealed away or not. So if the Tentails eats you, it's eating the chakra. That's covered. What about the Otsutsuki's abilities? I don't know. Just make him fucking activate karma. Just don't have Kawaki mask his chakra signature in the code art. You know why? Because honestly, who the fuck cares? You can easily write Kawaki leaving in like a billion different ways and just you didn't need to do that, okay? And he's gonna get this karma back literally in this arc anyway. He can fly next arc using karma. Just have him escape a different way. Problem solved. Just have him outsmart Nishi in a different way.
Yeah.
To
So
Nishi, he's a guy character. Doesn't matter if he's stupid or not.
exactly. The reason I bring this up, though, is because this is where it gets important. And I do think there's an obvious story writing idea that they're going with, but we're going to ignore that to go with in-universe implication. Based on this, there's two different ways it can go if Amado's using the data inside of Kawaki. Whether it's the information in the cells from when the karma was extracting, or if it's using the literal, like, karma relic itself regardless. So we get into the case to where what was restored is either Amado using the 80% power that had extracted, or he's using the 100% power that had extracted 80%. If that makes sense.
Or alternatively, another alternative is that he just collected some Ishiki data like previously in the past and is using that.
That's possible too, but ignoring that because we'll just assume he's using Kawaki's for right now. I think writing-wise, obviously it'd be stupid and ridiculous and weird for them to use the 80% Ishiki, so I think they're definitely using 100% Ishiki. But, like, in universe, I think it gets interesting to where it's possible that, like, Kawaki at 100% of its Otsutsuki power could only ever access, like, 80% of Ishiki's strength because that's the full 100% version of the karma that he got, if that makes sense.
I just realized something. Just realized it.
Yeah.
Ikimoto has a plot hole.
Okay.
I think. Potentially.
Another one?
Arguably. Okay, arguably. You could argue that this is okay. I'll make the counter argument that this is consistent afterwards, but it's still weird. So as we know, Kawaki was 80% Ishikified, like when he's fighting Borushiki in the Kawaki arc. Now, let's just assume for the sake of consistency here that like he became 80% like in the Boro fight, you know, like the last time he's gonna use karma anyway. That's just when he hits it. He doesn't really change after that. So around that time is when Amado is gonna come back to the village. He's about to leave. He's talking to Koji. He goes, "Oh, is that all you're bringing?" And he tells him what he's bringing. The things he says he's bringing is the digitized data aggregate and a section of cell fragments. Those are the only two things he brings. We later learn he has a digitized data aggregate of data / whatever is in Kawaki's karma seal. So that covers that. About the cell fragments. Well, we learn that Amado brought cell fragments of Kawaki to rebuild his hand. He literally says, "Oh, it's just one of the parts I brought when coming here." Clearly suggesting that that's the cell fragments. These cell fragments are something that he had, because the last time he saw Kawaki was, before he was in the airship for that matter, and he progressed a lot Otsutsuki-ness wise, so this is not 80% Kawaki cell fragments he's got here. He's got like 20% Kawaki or whatever. And that rebuilt his hand just fine. So the question is, did Momoshiki need to like convert his data to heal Boruto? Because it seems like it doesn't freaking matter what the percentages are. The counter argument being, well, Obito used Kawaki cells to heal him, so Momoshiki needed to be all Boruto cells to heal him. But like, the Kawaki cells Obito took might have been like 30% Ishiki-fied Kawaki cells. So it doesn't matter the percentage, as long as it just has some of it.
That's a good question.
What do you think?
Well, I do think this actually is perfect because this. So everything I had said prior is like a long-winded preface to get to the next thing I'm gonna say, which ironically is gonna be much, much shorter and also not gonna be something that you like talking about. But one of the things we've talked about in the past is why the karma can absorb, whether that's an Otsutsuki ability or whether that's a karma-specific ability. I think that's weird when you put that into context of this conversation. Because, like, hypothetically, if Kiba didn't go through any weird Shibai cell transfer, Shinjutsu awakening, and Kiba just transferred a karma onto someone else, well, Kiba can't absorb. Would the karma of the person who has Kiba's... Would the person who has Kiba's karma be able to use that karma to absorb? Like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But, like, that'd just be weird.
I agree. I think it makes no sense. Why do you think I hate it? But it is the case. Ishiki doesn't have jutsu absorption.
Well, I'm not going to say that confidently.
Blatantly depicted that way. He doesn't have it.
I'm not going to say we know that for a fact.
It's definitely suggested.
I mean,
He's not absorbing things. He's wasting chakra using a jutsu to shrink things instead of absorbing them and gaining chakra.
But, like, it's not just absorption. It's weird why the karma would operate in the way it does in other areas. Like, why even is it possible for it to spread across the body? Why is that a function of the karma? You know, the thing that's supposed to, like, extract its data and blah, blah, blah. But then same with resonance, because resonance, at the very least, you seem to think it happens regardless of the Otsutsuki, because now there's no, like, Ishiki connection, kind of, in a weird way, to Kawaki's karma, but it's still resonating with Boruto's karma. So is that
Not
even
soul-wise, at least. You could say data-wise, I guess. But
yeah, sure. But like, is that even an Otsutsuki thing at that point, or is that just karmas do that regardless of Otsutskis? Because at first, I'm sure you would agree, at first it's definitely implied to be Otsutsuki related rather
it's
than
not
karma
fully
related.
clear. You just see Momoshiki, like, manifesting pretty early on there, but
I mean,
but like,
yeah.
why would Momoshiki make Kawaki's karma activate, for example? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, ignoring that,
Mm-hmm.
definitely weird how the karmas like
I mean,
interact in that weird way.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna say 100% for certainty, but I don't expect Ikimoto to ever explain resonance. I do suspect he's going to continue to use it to where it happens. It's just going to be like, oh, we already know this thing happens. It's a thing. It happens. But I'm not so sure he's ever going to dive into like what it is, why it's happening, and so on. So much as he'll just keep making it be a thing that happens. Because it's been long enough to where someone would have explained it. Like, Amino and Jigen talk about it as in chapter 39 with Karachi still writing, as if they understand that shit. They know what it is. They know why it's happening. Like, they understand. Like, Amino wasn't there to see the resonance. He just knew it was happening. Probably because Koji told him. But, like, he understood it. Jigen knew exactly what he was talking about without literally seeing it or having Koji talk about it. And they understood that it was making them extract faster.
Exactly, and
They
that would
understood
make
the shit.
sense. But like,
So why would Amino never talk about it afterwards?
But
Ever.
at that point, it feels like it's weird for karmas to resonate when they can't even extract anymore. Like, it feels like that should just be a disabled feature. Like, it's just
Yeah, I
turned
don't know.
off.
It's just weird, but
Yeah.
like but the fact that it's just never come up at any point ever then since then, it's like, yeah, I don't know if that is ever going to.
Yeah. Definitely weird. I think we talked about that part to death. So moving on.
Yeah. So this one's actually underrated in my opinion. They've never. Hold on. Let me say it like Naruto. They've never, or if they say don't ever, I mean never, never. Okay, they've never, and I mean never, clarified that anyone is stronger than Ishiki. In fact, they've only told us that Jigen and Code are weaker than Ishiki, and implied other characters are also weaker than Ishiki. So we don't know, like Damon, who knows? But the gap between full power 100% Karma and Horn Jigen and Ishiki is not that big, if it even exists at all. It's really displayed to just be how long he can fight for and some extra ability utility with cubes and whatnot. It's ridiculous to claim that Jigen is weaker than Code, who's weaker than Base Boruto, who's weaker than a small herd of Mamushis, who's weaker than Delta, who's weaker than Karma Boruto or Kawaki, who's weaker than Jura, and for the love of God, no one is stronger than Ishiki? How many tiers over 100% Karma Jigen is Ishiki supposed to be? And I excluded Team 10BS for this. If he's that much stronger, why wasn't this shown to us? Why did Naruto and Sasuke objectively literally tank Ishiki's attacks better than Jigen's attacks when Ishiki quite literally needed to end the Naruto versus Sasuke fight quickly because he was on a death timer, while Jigen was just legit just doing it for fun. We're being generous when we even give Ishiki his Jigen power because he obviously should have it, but nothing shows Ishiki being tiers stronger than Jigen. He just has a few extra hacks like easier Sugona Higona, seemingly range via sight versus touching with hands, and cubes for defense. The gap is not that big. Conversely, the gap between base Jigen and Ishiki, or full power Karma Jigen, is that big, leaving actual room for all these people in between.
So, whereas I understand what you're saying, to a certain extent, it feels like the more power Ishiki has, the less he's gonna try, regardless of the amount of power he has in comparison to other people.
Well, okay, then you could disregard that last point about the. That's more just a funny thing, but it's like, why wasn't that shown to us? Because again, if they're gonna tell us, okay, Ishiki's stronger than Jigen, if he's gonna be like 50 tiers stronger, why did they never show us that?
I mean, I get what you're saying. At the same time, Ishiki's doing the 360 kick against Sasuke. Like, Jigen
Okay,
did it.
but Jigen's doing the loop-de-doo tie your shoes episode of SpongeBob uppercut on Naruto and knocking him out.
Ishiki didn't even need to do that to knock Naruto out.
He needed to do a 360 to not even knock out Sasuke. He surfboarded Sasuke and Sasuke got up. And he is trying to kill them. Freaking Boruto. Okay, you want me to be disingenuous right now? Boruto speed blitz Ishiki to jump in front of Ishiki's stab on Sasuke.
To be fair, I think it's unfair to say, I mean, yeah, he's trying to kill them, but he has 3 days, and he also wants them to tell him where Kawaki is. Like, if they're not gonna do it, he'll kill them, but, like, they'll just die whenever they die. He's not actively trying to kill them soon.
I agree. My point, but I mean, again, though, he's technically more motivated. Like, and again, obviously Ishiki's stronger, or at least equal. My point being, if he's meant, okay, for example, Code stronger than Jigen, Damon stronger than Code. They showed us that. They showed us Damon stronger than Code. If they want Ishiki to be like 10 tiers over Jigen, why would they never show us that? Like, why would they not make this very apparent?
Yeah.
That would perform low-key worse.
To a certain
we're just
extent,
going to say the same.
To a certain extent, obviously Jigen didn't realize how low he had gotten because, like, he's like wasn't expecting the crack when he got it. I think that's pretty clear. But at the same time, I think Jigen is to some extent aware that he does have limited power, so he can't let the fight drag on infinitely. Whereas, again, the Ishiki one, he knows he has 3 days, and he knows the fight's not going to last 3 days. So,
I'm not looking for your in-universe justification of Ishiki's fighting style for this, because I agree with what you're saying. I'm asking, as a writer, if you want Ishiki to be 10 whole levels over Jigen, why wouldn't you show us that? Why would you show them performing equally as good? Or technically worse?
well, to be fair, if it's a stomp fest in both instances, it is kind of harder to portray it in that way.
Okay, but like, for example, if you reverse it to where Naruto and Sasuke are getting up and keep fighting versus Jigen, but versus Ishiki, he knocks him out and pins him with rods in 3 seconds. Do you see? Okay, Ishiki looks stronger. But when you do it in reverse, yeah, not making him look stronger.
I'm just saying, if Ishiki's not trying to end the fight, but Jigen could be. So
but Ishiki was. He's literally splitting them up.
So okay, that right there, I think
That
that
you could even argue that Mel argument, he's being a B word. He has to split them up because he's scared. Whereas Jigen was just laughing, thinking them on together.
that right there, I'll give you. To where, to be fair, I understand why they did it because in the first fight, Jigen didn't know that, and in the second fight, he'd already fought Naruto and Sasuke, so he knew they were stronger together. So it makes sense. Second fight, he knows it. First fight, he doesn't. Second fight, he's going to separate them. First fight, he's not. That being said, it's the opposite to where exactly what you said. If you want to display Ishiki stronger than Jigen, you should have done it the opposite way, to where Jigen's trying to separate Naruto and Sasuke in their first fight, and Ishiki doesn't care to do that in the second fight. He doesn't need to do it.
Exactly. Like, again, it makes perfect sense in character, in universe, for him to do that. Why make your job harder than it needs to be? But as a writer, if you're trying to make them stronger, like you said, why would you make him go out of his way to make his fight easier? He shouldn't care. But
now,
Oodie, oh, go ahead.
To be fair, both Jigen and Ishiki are just spamming their abilities. Obviously, it has more of a drawback on Jigen, and that's how you could say technically Jigen realistically is weaker than Ishiki because of the time limit. In terms of like Jigen has less than Ishiki.
Yeah.
But that also means Ishiki's more freely open to spam. Not just like in general with like spamming the cubes, which is more of his Ishiki's battle style than a Jigen. But it seems like he's also like not just quantity but quality. He's just more willing and just does do it more in general. Just spamming Daikoku.
Yeah, I mean, like he's stronger, like because he can just do all that more. But
yeah.
But if they're like just gonna do taijutsu only, they'd be like equal until Jigen runs out anyway.
Yeah. No, I do think to an extent you don't need to portray it. Like I don't think it's inherently a critique if you only say it. Sometimes. This could
No,
be
but again,
but
even then, they're not saying Ishiki's like 7 levels over Jigen. It's like 1 at best.
I mean, it does to me. It does feel in totality, like Ishiki is on another level than Jigen. He's I don't know by how much, but like he's clearly eclipsed him. He's stronger. That's how it feels. Vibes alone. Maybe it's the music, maybe it's the production value solely, and has nothing to do with anything else. It could just be the series convinced me through telling me strictly, sheerly alone. But that's how it came across to me. So I understand why other people are saying it. When you actually spend more than 2 seconds to actually, not passively, but actively think about it, that's where the argument comes in.
I mean, personally, I think it's just the beginning of the Koji fight, really. It's like, let's say the Koji fight. But granted, you're gonna love point 11. But I think the Koji fight is realistically where that comes in. And I do feel like they tried, but they also failed at the same time. Like,
well, the problem
it's kind of tricky.
Is that Ishiki's... I'm assuming he's fresh. I don't think he's technically the 10% Jigen thing. I think that goes out the window. I think he starts at 100 regardless. But yeah, that's the difference, is that that's weird to use that because, I mean, it's basically base Jigen 10% at that for like 90% of the fight, and then Karma Jigen the last 10%, and even that's probably being generous. As opposed to Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen, you would only consider Karma 2 Jigen and how he performs rather than V1 or even base Jigen technically. But yeah.
Yeah, when doing this topic anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But, Oodie, I want you to go to point 11 here, wherever that one is. Because this one is actually quite funny.
Is this...
we're actually going to skip over this part and skip to point 11 because
you thought of something else.
Yeah, I thought of it after, and it's actually the funniest one. Okay, here we go. All right, scroll up slightly.
It's up, okay.
Up. Okay.
Yeah.
Stronger than Jigen point 11. Oh wait, this isn't where. Okay, maybe it's okay. Well, we're going to read this one first. Stronger than Jigen point 11. Holding back Naruto made a far bigger Super Master Rasengan than Boruto's Master Rasengan, where the point is the bigger it is, the stronger it is. After Delta overloaded, because Naruto put so much Rasengan in there, Sasuke absorbed so much of the Rasengan. Stronger than Jigen my butt. So I guess that's in the other thing that starts with in from my personal opinion. So scroll up a little bit. That one's from a previous stream. Okay. Okay, I guess we'll just read this whole thing. I guess it's in here where I say the funny thing. I thought it was point on it, but in my personal opinion, while I admit there are arguments for stronger than Jigen referring to the full karma power Jigen we saw versus Naruto and Sasuke, I believe they're limited to 1. Koji said Ishiki's power was far greater than when he was inside Jigen, and 2. The audience probably thinks the full power Kara Jigen when considering Jigen's strength, and rightfully so, since they never specified any particular form, so that's what Ikimoto is thinking of too when he writes stronger than Jigen, just the strongest version of that character. I already addressed 1, which can be countered by the fact that Koji hasn't seen full power Jigen, but I'm going to take it even further. Okay, so this is funny. Koji himself suggests that they shouldn't be that far apart in 2 ways. One is hilariously similar to what I said about Ishiki and Karma Jigen earlier. So, scroll down real quick.
Okay, really quick. I think to answer this and like the previous thing, I think the reason for me that I would like quantify the difference or why it feels like Ishiki should be stronger, it's not going to be in portrayal, but it's going to be an effort. It felt like Ishiki was able to do the same thing as Jigen with less effort.
I don't know if I can agree to that, though, because the problem is he didn't do the same thing as them. They never pulled out their avatars for Ishiki.
They never got the chance to. No, I get your point.
No, but the problem is, again, though, like, Ishiki kicks Sasuke, and he's, like, fine to Naruto. Meanwhile, Jigen punches through the Kurama avatar and temporarily knocks Naruto out. That's kind of like, okay, you can see he's not trying as hard, but he's not doing it well. So anyway, I want you to read point 1 so I can read point 2.
Koji and Amado purposefully waited until Jigen was severely weakened to do their plan, which exploited Karma's weakness of not being able to absorb natural physical matter. However, Jigen could still shrink the flames just like Ishiki himself did. The problem, however, is that Jigen had no stamina left, so he couldn't do it for very long. That's why this plan could even work to begin with. If they tried this on full power Jigen, he would have shrunk all of the flames just like Ishiki did. Otherwise, they would have just done this to begin with, and Amado literally explains this to us.
Okay, so Koji knows he can't beat Jigen unless he's at death's door already and does this plan. He says this. He says, oh, because he's like, oh, Jigen might be weakened. It's the once in a million opportunity he might actually be able to kill Jigen now.
Yeah.
So he can't beat Jigen unless he's at death's door and does his plan. Yet he thinks he can beat Ishiki. So if we take Koji's thoughts of the matter, he thinks Karma Jigen is, maybe even base Jigen, but he definitely thinks Karma Jigen is stronger than Ishiki, based on Koji's line of thinking.
I mean, that is funny. And this gets even weirder when you take Ikimoto's Koji line of thinking.
Exactly. But technically speaking, that is what was written.
To be fair, you also have the Koji shock thing that apparently Amado never told Koji that he's gonna die fighting Ishiki, and that's a weird thing.
But even then, though, again, Ishiki had to tell him that. So Koji thought he was gonna win against Ishiki. But he didn't think he could beat Jigen unless he was at death's door.
I don't know. Definitely possible.
I Ishiki, the first thing Ishiki does is show how strong he is, and Coach is like, "Oh wow, he's so much stronger now. Time for me to beat him up."
I don't know if necessarily Koji thought he would beat him in terms of, at the very least, I don't think that Koji thought he was stronger than Ishiki.
Yeah, but he thought he could get the win.
I mean,
So why
obviously
can't he
he's
do that
fighting to
versus
try and
Jigen?
win. Obviously the narrative is not about killing Ishiki, but about not dying like Jiraiya did. And Koji does
Yeah.
succeed in doing
Well,
that.
well, I mean, it was the narrative.
Well, ignoring Ikimoto for a second.
Before Two Blue Vortex ruined it.
Yes. But continuing on.
So I had other things earlier to counter the Koji line, but I forgot them.
Did you remember them?
Ultimately, the only argument I
so.
truly fully understand and somewhat agree with is that's what the audience thinks of when it comes to Jigen's power, because it's true. That is what you would normally think of. However, given all these points for the other side, base Jigen, the previous 30 points we mentioned in the past, and the fact that Ikimoto in the story consistently makes a distinction for Jigen and Ishiki and Jigen slash Kawaki slash Code's powers and Mabushiki and Boruto's powers, it just makes way more sense. It is way more consistent that stronger than Jigen just means base Jigen, who is strong AF.
And people forget, but we do see base Jigen fight, just at least a little bit. Like, he does everything, especially in the anime. He does, he's freaking spending a whole freaking episode at Naruto's house before he goes Karma 1 when Sasuke shows up.
I mean, yeah, he does just blatantly just kick Naruto and him and Roz in 2 seconds.
So we can't just be going around saying he's a lightweight. I think just based on that alone, he has clear scaling to or above Delta. That alone.
When you think about it, say what you want, but base Naruto, even if she's not going all out, base Naruto did just flip-de-doo Delta into the ground. So Jigen's stronger than base Naruto. He's doing that too. He does it to Code. And then you have everyone loves to say, oh, the tired, fatigued base Naruto was somewhat keeping up with Fused Momoshiki. Okay, the base Jigen's stronger than that, so he's gonna do that too.
Oh, there you go.
That same Fused Momoshiki is a relative to Six Pads Naruto.
And all of this without even taking his shoes off in Naruto's house. But that being said, Blue Star wanted to join.
To say the outro?
Well, we could definitely let him do that if you want to go to, I guess, the normal stage shot or something.
Just from the outro.
Yes. Be funny.
Okay.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, sure.
Now we wait.
I just noticed there's an invite to voice thing I'm seeing. Oh, it went away.
I saw that too for a second. I didn't even think about looking at even some.
Does that mean I can just invite someone? How's that work?
I don't know. It'd be cool. It's probably went somewhere, but I don't know where it went. Anyways, Blue Star.
Hello, everyone.
Oh my god, that was loud. I don't know about you, Kamui, but that was loud for me. Well, you're at 67% now.
Okay, sorry. I finally got to join again, so hello, it's been a while.
It has indeed.
But yeah, so yeah. So anyway, I suppose I take let's see any comments in the YouTube channel. Let's see. So one of the reasons my stream got so long is because I had to answer every damn comment.
Sure. There's space.
April 3rd. What does that say?
On the same day of MHA's 10th anniversary. LOL.
Okay. Well, let's see. Yes. Unfortunately, if I had more time, I may have celebrated that anniversary as well. But yeah, but that's just quite a funny coincidence,
Yeah.
I think. Let's see, and as I probably told, let's see, I believe that, 431 chapters being adapted into an anime thing, but of course, I'm still waiting for one of my friends to come back online so like we can review it together. But yeah.
Yeah.
But
That
yeah,
would be good.
but like I said, but like I talked about in the podcast, chat has expressed interest. Though I will say she's from Romania, so she's like 2 hours ahead of me. So you gotta find a time and day that will well suit her.
Brutal. Yeah.
Let's see. So yeah, but she is willing to do it. So yeah, I'll say
Okay,
that.
okay. Yeah, we'll have to
Let's
figure
see.
that out for sure.
Yeah.
One of these days.
Um,
Might have to
yeah.
be like spur of the moment kind of thing, sort of like this is right here, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe at some point I'll get her to join our private chat or something. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I will say both Kamui and I at this point are trying not to stream too late, but we also can't stream early, so it's also a problem.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm sure an opportunity will arise at some point.
At some point. Yeah, like especially on like a holiday, that could definitely change something. Not really for me because I work every day, but for Kamui,
Wow, your work life sucks.
you're not wrong. Work in progress.
Yeah. Yeah. But who knows? Let's see. What was I trying to think? Oh yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, we're still trying to also find the time to do that Kaguya stream with Greg.
I know. That one's harder because that has so many different people and moving parts.
Oh yeah, but yeah, at some point, let's see. Hopefully, we'll find a day to do it.
Yeah. Also, I feel like Greg's interest level on that might be a little bit lower than ours.
Yeah, that is fair. To be fair, let's see. So
The stars will align one of these days.
you want to get back to the topic of Naruto and all that stuff, or?
We can. I'm getting really tired at this point. I've been coming for phone.
If you want to end it now, I'm more than fine with that. I just got us just shoot on in, and you probably cut this from the podcast. So
No, I'm gonna clip this and make its own video. Actually, I feel like this would be good as its own like separate thing.
Okay.
If you did have a topic that you want to do, then please feel free to do so before I end it. But otherwise,
It's
but anyways, I suppose if you wanted to do the outro, since you're begging me to do it.
well, I'm not necessarily begging or one way or the other. I just feel like you probably seem like you need to get some sleep now.
All right, Blue Star. I suppose I'll allow you to do it.
I'm Blue Star Saber, and everyone, thank you for watching the Walky Talky podcast.
Hey.